Okay, there's that. Turn that back on. Make sure it actually works. Maybe. It would help if there was some audio playing during this. It's not on y'all's side, it's actually not playing any audio in the game. That's why it's having problems right now.
You just gotta wait.
There we go. Alright, good. We're good. Alright, have fun.
Alrighty.
I'll be here eating sandwiches mostly.
So, again, I've not been told what game I've played yet, so I'm not entirely sure. This is a Fire Emblem game, question mark?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe not. Maybe it's a Zelda game.
But she has green hair.
Well, I mean, Zelda had green hair.
I mean,
remember her tennis ball green eyebrows from Ocarina of Time when you saw me play that?
I'm also colorblind, so that was kind of weird. I just thought they were really yellow.
Maybe it's just me, I don't know. It could be me.
Everybody's a little bit colorblind in the end.
I was gonna say, as a wise man once said, we're all a little bit British.
Yes, yeah.
That is my favorite thing about changing my class schedules is not having Dr. Fair class and he just gets to make British jokes all the time since his wife is British.
Dude, Dr. Fair is fantastic.
Like at one point he just got so frustrated with her side of the family. He's like, how did you people conquer a third of the world?
Did he tell you about the time his mother-in-law locked him outside during a snowstorm?
Yes, I heard that one like a couple years ago.
I love that. That's my favorite story, because, like, she just locked him outside, and he's like, hey, let me back in, and she just looks at him.
Like, no.
It's like, oh my god.
Surprise, it was Fire Emblem.
Yay! I'm learning something, question mark? Alrighty. So, new game?
Yep, so new game. The way we're going to do this, you can put it on any save file you want. That was just a practice run on that top one, and the epilogue ones are just finished ones, so really pick whichever slot you want. We are going to be playing this on easy difficulty because I'm putting a stipulation on you. You can't lose any characters in the game, which on easy mode is actually pretty simple to do.
Alright.
As for the level up method, this is something you only unlock after beating the game once, and normally on your first playthrough it forces you to do random. Basically, because there are different types of units, like you would see in war, typically, like a big bulky armor unit, when he levels up, he would probably get stuff like defense. So if you put it on fixed mode, it basically plays to the character's actual strengths. It's like, this is what the character should look like at the end of the game if you get them to max level. Random pretty much throws that all out the window and just relies on RNG, so we're playing on fixed, not random.
Let's get our tank all of the magic power.
That happened to me the first time I played as Ike. He only had 9 strength when he was at level 40, but he had 13 resistance.
That's the worst.
Also, I will warn you, in this game, the audio is super quiet on the voice acting.
Alright.
Well, Ike, you had enough?
Really, it's only good on Grail, his dad.
Oh, missed.
Dude, never scream whenever you're sneak attacking.
Unless you're screaming the word sneak attack.
Oh no!
So do you recognize this guy at all from probably Smash, I would guess?
Yeah, from Smash.
Okay, so this is like the very start of his adventure. This is before he got steroided out in the sequel to this game, and all the events have happened. And obviously he just got knocked the fuck out.
I mean, yeah, one hit KO.
Yeah. He's only got 19 health. It can happen.
Missed that song.
Ah, you're up. About time.
About time.
Yeah. Oh, and she looks just like her mom, who is no longer with us.
Rip. Is it their mom or her mom?
Their mom.
Okay.
Grail is their father, and Elena is their mom.
Okay.
And they're the only two kids. So obviously Mist is the younger sister, and Ike's the older brother.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Probably.
So the big two reasons, well really three reasons we picked this game, is one, this is like super story driven, and the story in this game is actually really good. A lot of it you kind of have to play the sequel as well to tie up some loose ends, but it still does like a pretty good job as a standalone. Second, you're probably going to rarely see anybody play this game blind anymore, because remember when I showed you it was like $100 for like a not that great copy used?
Mm-hmm.
It's about $170 now?
Oh, jeez.
So, like, it's just gonna get progressively more expensive unless it gets a re-release somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So watching someone play this new is very uncommon these days. And yes, this is her first Fire Emblem game. This is actually a pretty easy Fire Emblem game. Your husband picked, like, one of the worst ones to play. Because, like, when he said Shadow Dragon, I'm like, oh god, it was all I could do to beat it on the lowest difficulty when I played it. And it was, like, my 5th Fire Emblem game. But by and large, this game is pretty simple. Like, I've beaten this on the highest difficulty, and I've not beaten the sequel on the highest difficulty. But, like, it's a good story to get into, it's an easy one to play, and, like, is a good way of getting you into the mechanics. Really, the only true downside to this game is the animations do not look very good, because it's, like, 2003. And so the in-game combat animations look really poor, and they look great in the sequel, but they look really poor here. But we might end up turning those off regardless because they do increase how long battles take, rather than just like showing them on screen, where it's just like we'll just do like an animation on screen instead of shifting to a whole other thing. Also, let me know how the audio is because we're trying a new audio setup. So if the audio is too loud or too quiet for us or for the game, then let me know, and I will adjust it accordingly. So yeah, Grail refuses to fight you until you can beat up Void.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is like the training.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a turn-based game, so you don't have to like react super quick or anything like that. There's no Paper Mario like press A to reduce damage or anything like that.
Oh, thank
But
God.
I would recommend watching the tutorial. God, if Fire Emblem was like that, it would be awful. There's too much going on.
In tutorial windows like this one will appear from time to time. Anna, your helpful hint girl. Oh God. Will explain and demonstrate any new features. If you want to watch a tutorial again, simply choose Guide from the map menu. Sure. How to move.
Yep. If you know your Fire Emblem, this is probably going to be painful to watch because she has to learn how everything works. So, most people watching this probably already know most of how this thing is. I don't know why you would move it with the D-pad, but I guess you can. I just use the cursor and it works fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, can I guess? Well, you can move. And orange is maximum attack range.
If it's blue, then that also means you can attack those spots as well. So you can move around however you want to. So after he's moved, you get some sort of menu. If you don't like where you moved them, you can cancel that with B and send them back to where they were. But each unit will only get one movement per turn and then one command, like it's showing here, whether it's have them wait and do nothing, have them use an item, have them attack, whatever it is. And when they're grayed out like that, then that shows that they're done for that turn. And your turn will end when either you choose for it to end of your own free will, or if all your units have been moved.
Do I have to wait? Can I attack her?
No, you're not close enough to him. They do that on purpose. They put him one tile out of reach on purpose.
Sure.
Alright, so here's how you stab people. Anytime that there's a blue unit on the map, which usually it's easier to tell by the blue circle, because not every character that you control is blue, that means they're yours. If they're an enemy, they're red. So when you have the ability to attack somebody, it'll pop up with the orange, and then it will have attack for one of your options. And yeah, if you don't have a weapon, then you can't attack, but they could obviously still attack you. So you can get attacked while you're unarmed. So you can pick between different weapons when you have more and they have different stats. And the one with a little E next to it on Iron Sword means that that's the item that's equipped. So like if you move and don't attack somebody but you want to switch to a different weapon, you can equip a different one in case they attack you.
Okay. So it's kind of a lot like D&D.
A little bit.
It's just more visual, I guess. I mean, depends on how you play D&D.
Yeah, the info in the blue is yours, and the info in the red is the enemy's. So your HP is obviously how much health you have. MT stands for might, which is how much damage you'll do. The hit will be anywhere between 0 and 100, that's just your percent chance to hit. And then crit is your chance to get a critical hit, which does 3 times the normal amount of damage. Now, there's something they won't teach you about yet, but you can see it kind of in the corner when you go to attack. You see where it's got the sword, the axe, and the lance near the bottom right. Mm-hmm. Well, not quite near the bottom right. That's basically something called the weapon triangle, where it's just a rock, paper, scissors thing. So swords will do better than axes, axes better than lances, and lances better than swords. Which is why, next to Ike's thing, it had an arrow pointing up on his weapon. That means that he has the advantage, at least in that sense. And this is typically because swords, while weaker than axes, though they'll always hit you in this tutorial, swords, while weaker than axes, are typically going to have more chance to dodge. This was usually a bit more prominent in the older Fire Emblem games, but usually you wanted to try to make sure you never went up against somebody that had the weapon triangle advantage. And it kind of applies here, but on easy mode, by and large, that's not going to cause a problem.
Yikes.
And each time you fight an enemy, you get experience. You get some, like a small amount for damaging them or initiating a fight but not killing them, and then you get a larger amount for defeating them.
That wasn't too bad. You just nearly fell over because I whacked you with a fake sword.
So now Gray will actually fight you.
Oh, I have to fight Mist first.
No.
Oh,
you
okay.
don't. She gives you a Vulnerate, which is a healing item that you can use. So if you want to use a turn instead of attacking to heal, this is one of the options you have, is to use an item like a Vulnerate to heal yourself. And it actually does force you to use the Vulnerate. You cannot defeat Grail without using the Vulnerate in this fight.
Sure.
So using an item is kind of the opposite of Mario Party. You use it after you've already moved, rather than like in Mario Party where you use the item before. You use it after you move.
Okay.
And again, this is one of the commands you do, so if you use an item, you can't attack in the same round. So your weapons will always be stored in the top half of that window, and your items will always be stored in the lower half, so you can have a max of 4 items and a max of 4 weapons. And then you just click on it and use it. And there you go. Vulneraries always heal for 10 HP, so... At least in this game. In the sequel, they actually heal for 20, but in this game, it's only for 10.
Yikes. Damn.
And you shouldn't have to use another vulnerary. I think you only have to use it once to... Yeah, you should be fine. You should survive with one. So each time you get to 100 experience, you'll get a level up.
Yay. Does it get harder to earn as you go along?
It does. Like, usually the enemies grow levels with you, but like, let's say there's a unit that's already in their second class, they will get less experience from kills, yes. And typically, attacking and especially defeating a boss will get you a lot more experience than anybody else. As you'll see right here, you should get another level. So the way that it chooses what stats level up is, again, you're in fixed, so it usually plays to his strengths, which Ike's are usually HP, skill, speed. Like, pretty much everything except for magic and resistance. But whenever it chooses, they basically go along the lines of something called growth rates, which are hidden stats for each character. So if you have a character like a Myrmidon that's a swordmaster, like they showed in the tutorials, they're typically really high in skill and speed, and so their growth rate is determined, again, on a percentage. So if their growth rate in strength is like 75%, that means each time they get a level, there's a 75% chance that that stat will go up by 1.
Interesting.
So as you do play through, I am gonna like, I actually do have a chart with me. I have a chart for the wiki that gives like kind of an overview of the character, and then I also put each character into 3 categories. One of them is like, it's a very good idea to use this unit. One of them is like, it kind of hit or miss on if you want to use it, and one of them is like, don't use this unit no matter what you do because they're terrible. So I pulled those stats from the wiki, and then I made those stats of my own, and then combined the columns to see which ones matched up. Like if both me and the wiki said don't use this character, or if they both said definitely use this character. So that'll give you an idea of who you want to play, because I'll warn you right now, you cannot balance all the characters in this game. People are going to get benched, where you just don't use them later on. At the start of the game, it'll pretty much force you to use everybody that it gives you, at the very least, like, put them on the map, but later on, you'll have, like, at the end of the game, about 50 units, and it'll be like, okay, pick 11 or so to go into the fight, and the rest of them won't be able to gain experience or do anything else.
Yeesh.
Oh, hey, you're late. How fitting.
Awkward.
So I will go ahead and say it now, because I know for a fact it came up as yes on the wiki's list and yes on mine. You will have to use Ike. Ike is required in each stage of the game, and if he dies, you get a game over. So he is required to be taken care of, he is required to be leveled up, all that good stuff. He is... Even though he's called a ranger in this game, the classic version of him is basically a unit that's called the Lord unit, as in, like, you know, the ladies and lords of a house. Because in the old Fire Emblem games, it was typically about reclaiming your country, even though Ike's a mercenary in this game along with everybody else. But Ike's one of the better, if not the best, Lord unit that's ever been given to any Fire Emblem character, at least up to this point. Typically, the Lord units are really good in speed, skill, and luck, and nothing else, which means usually, no matter how high leveled they got, if they got hit twice, they were dead. And Ike can withstand far more punishment than most of the previous Lords can. He's considered one of the best. And that's predominantly because he gets good HP, good strength, and good defense, which is something Lord units almost never got in the old games.
I mean, at least there's that, right? That's not too bad.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the better ones to use. I've played a fair bit of the Fire Emblem games, and I can say he's probably the second or first best Lord that I've ever used. He's up there with Hector in terms of how good he is. Alright, so this is the map you'd be playing on. You've been hired to get rid of some bandits.
There are the blue marks.
Yep.
There are the red dots.
So the one that's flashing, like, pulsing, the red one is the boss, and the blue one is your main character, which is Ike. It will always be Ike. So each time you play a stage, in the top left corner, it will give you different requirements for completing the stage. Sometimes it's defeating a boss, sometimes it's clearing out all the enemies, which is called routing, Sometimes it's getting a character to C's, which is Ike typically, where that red space the boss is standing on, he has to stand on that space and then use the C's command in order to end the chapter. So yeah, this is talking about the weapon triangle, which I already mentioned. Axes are good against lances, bad against sword. Lances are good against sword, but not axes, and swords good against axes, but not good against lances.
Well, it's a good thing he's got an axe, right?
I don't know, like, I'm 50-50 on axes, honestly, because each weapon as well also has different stats on it, and axes typically don't have as good accuracy as swords or lances. So there's a bit of an issue with that as well. But again, it mostly comes down to playstyle, and you kind of just fall into, like, you really like using one set of units, and I usually don't care for axes. But that's mostly because, you know, then your chance of missing is higher, and knowing me, if it's anything lower than 80%, it's not going to hit.
So, do people just give you stuff?
Yes, they do give you stuff. Now, on occasion, this can backfire. There are certain units later on, because this game features things like topics of racism, which you'll see later on.
Ah.
And so if you visit the houses with the wrong people, they'll just, like, basically kick you out and not give you anything. That only happens a couple times, though.
But they won't, like, actively kill you.
No, they won't kill you. I don't think anybody can actually kill you by visiting a house. And this is another thing you have to watch out for, is the bandits, which are always units that look like that, can go destroy houses. So if they get destroyed, you can't get whatever items in it.
God.
Yeah, and after you pick up the item, the door will close, and then you'll have it, and they won't be able to break the thing down. Alright, so before it actually continues any further, let me give you a bit more of information, because it actually did a very good job. So, you can see what your clear status is, which is C, so you will have to beat the boss and then take over the point that's glowing red underneath him.
So that?
Yeah. If you hit start, that'll pull up the window you saw earlier, and you can also hit A on this window, because it shows you how many units you have and how many enemies there are. It'll also give you the victory conditions and any defeat conditions, if any. So defeat basically is a game over. So we're trying not to lose any characters, but if Ike dies, then it just straight up is a game over.
Alright.
So in addition, if you go onto one of your characters, just highlight one of them and then hit Y. We'll go ahead and do that too. I forgot there were going to be a mounted units tutorial.
Nice.
So there's 3 different mounted units. You've got horses, Pegasi, and dragons, or wyverns, whatever you want to call them. So each mounted unit basically has a skill called Canto, where if they don't move as far as they possibly can, and then they do something like attack or use an item or whatever, they get to use up the rest of their move spaces.
So they can...
So like this guy's going to attack, but because his overall movement is probably like 9, if I had to guess.
And then turn around and go away.
Yeah, he can turn around and move back.
Are they harder to hit whilst on a horse?
No. Usually that just depends straight up on your stats. Cavalier units in Fire Emblem tradition are typically well-rounded units. They're kind of balanced in everything, jack of all trades, master of none. But in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance in particular, the maps typically later on are very huge. This game definitely favors units with high mobility. And it especially favors flying units, so it does not hurt to have some.
Okay, now
Okay, so
hit
hit Y on this screen right here. Oh, you might have to hit B first. There you go. Now hit Y. So this will bring up all their data. So this will tell you from the top to the bottom what class they are, what level they are, how much experience they have, their max health and their current health. MV in the top right is their movement, which is how far they can go. Weight is just the ability to be able to shove other people. If you want to push them out of the way of something, you can if your weight is higher than theirs is.
Mm-hmm.
The personal data is obviously their stats. Strength is obviously how much damage they can do. Magic is how much magic damage they can do. Skill will basically be how frequently they can activate their skills, which we'll go over in a second. Speed is how good they are at being able to dodge attacks, and that also includes being able to attack twice in one round if their speed's high enough. Luck affects a lot of different things. Primarily, it affects the ability of you getting a critical hit or the enemy getting a critical hit on you. Defense is obviously defense against strength, and resistance is resistance against magic. And then your weapons, if you hit Y again, it will give you all the details of them. So you can see that it says Axe E. E is basically the weapon level, so as you fight more with that weapon, your weapon level will go up and it will enable you to use heavier weapons, just like in real life. If you wanted to be able to use a really heavy sword, it would be a good idea to practice with something lighter. So, like, later on you'll get stuff like silver axes that'll have a rank of A. It also gives you the might, which is the damage that it does, the hit, which is the accuracy, the critical, the weight, and the range. The weight determines whether you can double attack or not, combining it with the speed. And then the range is obviously how far away you can hit from. Alright, so now if you hit B once here, and then hit left or right, either one. That one's not too important. Basically, biorhythm is just the unit's average. Basically, it's kind of like a mood swing-esque thing. So when their biorhythm is high, they have a better accuracy. When it's low, they have a lower accuracy. It's kind of like a morale type thing.
Alright.
Let's see here. You can see what type of unit they are. So Knight, obviously, their weapon levels. So she can use up to an A level in axe and up to a C level in lance. And then lastly, where it's got her capacity 10 of 20 and counter, those are your skills in the game. So if you hit Y again, it should give you, it gives you different skills throughout the game. Some are given to you, some units start with them, and you can see what all of them do. Counter's kind of a shit one because it basically, if your unit takes damage, they deal half of it back automatically, but that also means you have to take damage in order for that to activate, so not the best in the world. So the capacity means that they can only have so many skills. You can't just dump everything into one unit. So each skill has a certain amount of points that it puts onto that capacity. So once it hits a certain amount, like if you found another one with 10, it would put it up to the full 20, and then you couldn't add anything else unless you took something off. Alright,
Okay.
flip to the next page if they've got one. It might just be those three. Okay, it's just these three.
Alright.
Alright,
So...
I'm gonna grab the list real quick and go over for the other three units because Ike is the only one that's required in the game, which also means I'll probably have to turn the light on.
So technically all I have to do is beat this guy, but I want to try to beat the other guys too, right?
Yeah, because that will get you more experience. Okay, really quickly, before you start moving, go to a square that doesn't have anything on it, and then hit A, and go to Options. Let's see, turn the game speed to fast and the message speed to max. That'll just basically increase people walking around so they'll go faster, and the message speed will mean you don't have to wait for it to like, slowly plod along. Let's see, keep going down, keep going.
Why the hell did you have it on reverse?
Some people actually prefer it on reverse. I don't, but yeah, some people do. You can turn Rumble off if you don't like Rumble. Keep it on, up to you. Bonus experience display, turn that on. So basically, you do get bonus experience. It won't get used till much later, but you get bonus experience for doing things like ending a stage faster than like a certain clear time. So if it takes you like 5 turns to clear it, the game's like, wow, that normally takes you about 7 turns to clear it. It'll give you some bonus experience to use later on. Really, that's the only one I wanted to change. We'll probably turn the animations off at some point, but for now I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so on the list for the wiki, they have Titania as a Titania, Boyd, and Oscar, the other three, all as characters they heavily recommend you use. On my list, the only other person outside of Ike that I recommend you use is Oscar.
Screw the rules, I have green hair.
But it is up to you. This is just recommendations for somebody who has not played before. It is entirely up to you who you use. So now I'm going to pull the wiki up for each of the characters.
Should I go ahead and start?
Yeah,
or
you can
wait?
go ahead and start. Just keep in mind, like, if you decide later on you don't want to use a character, then obviously you don't want them to start taking experience away from characters that you do want to get experience. Also, you'll notice, because it was a practice thing, Boyd does have more health than when you fought him in the previous stage. He actually has 30 now instead of, like, 22.
Can we, like, flank them?
You can. The only spot that you can't stand on with Ike right now is, like, you can't stand on the same spot as another character. It's like you can't stand where Boyd is or where Oscar is or anything like that. Alright, so here are the growth rates for Boyd. Again, this is the chance between 1 and 100 of what stat levels up. So when he levels up, he's got a 75% chance to get a point HP, 60% for strength, 5% for magic, 50% for skill, 45% for speed, 35% for luck, and 25% for defense and resistance. So his big stats are HP, strength, and skill. And according to the wiki, due to his good growth and immediate availability, Boyd can prove to be a very useful unit. His base stats can be somewhat problematic, however. He gets weighed down by iron axes, which makes it difficult for him to double attack, and in fact results in him being doubled by certain enemy types early on. After the first few chapters, however, he will outgrow these problems. On average, by level 5, he has the 6 ability he was promised at base, and by level 7, he'll no longer be weighed down by iron axes at all. It's also worth considering using the early speed wings on him, which is an item you'll pick up later. The early speed wings on him to get him started faster, though other units arguably make better use of this item. As he continues to gain levels through the mid-game, his high offensive growth will begin to shine through. Overall, he's in the running for being one of the best foot units in the game. His default skill, Tempest, gains some extra hit and avoid, but may prove to be a hindrance if his biorhythm is low. So it's basically a skill that doubles his biorhythm effect. So when he's high up on the biorhythm, he does really well, but when he's low on the biorhythm, he does really bad. It may be more reliable to take the skill off him entirely, but it can be fun and have niche usefulness to keep it on him. He also boasts solid supports, which we'll talk about later, especially that of the ones that he shares with his brothers, because Boyd and Oscar are brothers. You can tell because they both have green hair. It's worth noting that Boyd can that's spoilers for later. Yeah, that's pretty much all it's got on him. The reason I said, like, predominantly no for Boyd is I've usually had terrible luck with him. I've played this game enough to where I've used every character at least 3 times, and Boyd will usually do well in health, strength, and that's about it for me. In late game, like, I've had him max level on easy mode going into the final stage, and if he got hit twice, he died.
God.
Yeah, he was at like 60 health and would still die in 2 hits. So you have to be very careful with him, at least from my experience, you have to be very careful with him. I didn't find, like it said, I didn't find speed to be an issue, it was defense, and that's typically a thing for the fighter class that he is just fighters do high damage, but they also take higher damage as a result. So let's move on to Oscar. I should probably start with Titania, but well. Also, I see you're using one of my old school strategies. I approve of this. We're pulling a Donald Trump and using what I call the wall, which is basically if you make a straight line, they can't break past it. So
yeah, I mean,
it's a very basic strategy, but it works really well. Oh, that's cool. Oscar's the same age as me. I didn't realize that. Here's my horse. Alright, so here are Oscar's growth rates, which is your knight unit, the guy in the green. HP is 55%, strength is 45%, magic is 20%, skill is 50%, speed is 45%, luck is 30%, defense is 35%, and resistance is 30%. So what it says about him is Oscar combines good bases, no, you're alright, combines good bases, solid growth rates in most key areas, a great availability, a good weapon type, and all the utility offered by mounted class all into one package. He can contribute from the moment he joins and will only get better from there. His only real weakness actually comes from how balanced his growth rates are. With some unlucky levels, it may become difficult for Oscar to keep up with your other units, especially early on when the enemies are still somewhat threatening. This isn't a major issue, however, and won't affect the majority of players. When Oscar promotes into a paladin, that's all spoilers from when he promotes. So yeah, they're pretty much right. The only flaw that Oscar has, and it's more so just how the game plays than anything, is because of the weapon triangle, he will flounder typically in earlier stages because a lot of enemies will have axes for their weapons. So because he uses lances, it may make him seem worse than he actually is. But if you put him up against a sword user, it's going to do like maybe 1 to 2 damage even at this point in the game. So usually he does very well. I use him in almost every single playthrough. He's got really high movement, which again favors in this game a lot. Characters with high movement tend to do a lot better. His ability when he class changes is good, but again, we won't spoil that. So it was a character that the wiki recommended you use, and it was a character that I recommend you use as well. And then moving on to the last one. It was a very controversial character in terms of using. Oh, you're gonna be cutting it close if you miss here.
Probably, yeah. Damn it. I hadn't missed before you said that.
Well, I saw your hit percentage is only 57, so there was a pretty good chance you weren't gonna get it.
So far, Boyd has not been doing great, and Oscar's had to bail him out several times.
Yeah, another reason I don't like Boyd. He does get better when he levels up, like he does, but it really shows early on. He takes a lot of damage. Alright, so Titania is a paladin, which is what Oscar promotes into when he gets to level 21. You go all the way up to 20, and then you go back to level 1, but it gives you a new class.
Can I give him an item?
Yes, you can. Hit B. It says trade there, but that's usually not how I do it. Hit B again, and then go to trade on this menu. And you can trade with anybody that's directly next to you. So up, down, left, or right. And then you can just move stuff over how you need to. I'll talk about the bands that they've got later on, but don't trade over the bands to anybody yet. Just keep them where they are. That's something you get after you've beaten the game once. So Titania's stats, her growth rates are HP 80%, Strength 45, Magic 25, Skills 60, Speed 50, Luck 45, Defense 40, and Resistance 45. So according to this, Titania becomes playable early in the game and is a pre-promoted paladin who fits the Oifi archetype, which we'll talk about that shortly. Her high base stats allow her to easily handle most early maps practically on her own, as her growths are relatively solid and she can arguably handle the late game maps on her own as well. Her most interesting quirk is her high resistance base and growth, which allows her to effectively deal with the mages throughout the game. She is a serviceable unit who's extremely useful for the entire game on the levels of Marcus and the Blazing Blade, which is a different fireman game. So when it's talking about the Oifi archetype, what it also is referring to is Titania is a pre-promote. And so right now, for most times you get a pre-promote in the game, their stats look really good. But by the time, like, say you got Oscar up to the same level that she was, Oscar is almost guaranteed to outshine her in every single stat. So while she looks good now, by the time that everybody catches up, she's not going to be as strong as them. That's the issues with the pre-promote. And as you probably already figured out from killing the boss, is you don't get as much experience attacking with pre-promotes. So you may not even get, like, a full level by doing it. But you can also tell that she's a pre-promote because she does, like, 20 damage per hit, where everybody else is doing, like, somewhere between usually about 7 to 9.
She's also got, like, 33 health.
Yeah.
So, what they were just saying is she's gotta move, because someone has the seize ability.
It's Ike. It will always be Ike.
Okay, nice.
That changes in other Fire Emblem games who it is, but in this game it's always Ike. Every time. Now there's also another command called Arrive, where that square will be blue. If it's blue, then anybody can do it. So they recommend you use Titania. I don't recommend it. I typically use her as basically a pack mule for the early parts of the game before you can store items in your convoy. Where I give her or unequip an item to where you can send her out in front and she might get attacked because she has no weapon. Because that's what the AI is programmed to do, is they'll think, who can I attack that won't counterattack me? But because her stats at this point are so high, they're not going to be able to kill her easily. And so you can just send her out in front, she'll take all the hits, and then you can clean up all the other people that are around her. But you can also use her to give her a bunch of items that, if your inventory is getting full, or if it's an item that nobody can really use yet, you can give it to her. That's typically what I use her for.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. The pre-promote unit of the one typically being bad is known as a Jagan unit from the original game, because that's what he did, is he was a high-level unit that ended up trash by the end of the game. But Titania is salvageable. I just don't prefer to use her.
Your soul staff wielder, aka he'll be showing up again later.
Yep, he is your healer for the first part of the game.
You just got a letter. You just got a letter. You just got a letter. Wonder who it's from. I imagine it's a death threat.
Good guess.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. So, did we all heal after?
Yeah, after the map ends, everybody gets, like, all their health back.
Nice.
They'll keep all the items they had, but they get all their health back. You also keep all the experience after the thing is over. So if you have, like, 60 experience when you end a map, you'll keep that 60 experience. You don't start back at 0.
Not death threat. It was a ransom.
Yeah.
Which is slightly better.
So now they've got Miss Captive as well as Rolf, and Rolf is the younger brother of Boyd and Oscar. These two guys are right.
Ike, where are you going? Yes, he disappears off screen and he immediately shows back up again.
Yep.
Yes, we do have time. Ike, what are you doing? Dude. Yo. Come on. Why are we leaving the extremely experienced person behind? Is
Well,
that just me, or?
A, for the story, and B, because they don't want you to rely on her for 100% of the game.
I mean, makes sense. Man. This is a bad idea. I would just like to say that.
Oh, it's a
before
horrible
going into
idea.
this.
It's like literally the worst thing they could have done.
Because everybody knows the first thing you do when confronting kidnappers is kill them.
Yep.
When you don't know where the children are. Why didn't he just tell me where they are?
You're here, but Red ain't.
It's time to play, lads. I'm not sure what you're deciding we should play, but I don't wanna. I don't wanna play with Gabbity-Bow.
It's probably Clue.
Yeah, without the red-haired knight, we're not much of a match, you guys. Ahem. Anyone?
Bueller.
Ralph, alright.
Alright, I've already told you how this victory condition works. It's just kill everybody.
Ah,
It's pretty simple. So yeah,
Alright.
if you hit start, you've already done this. You can see how many people you have command of and how many enemies there are.
nice. Okay.
Also, yes, reinforcements can sometimes arrive. They will not on this map, but they can.
Probably will later.
It has screwed me over multiple times while playing through the series, where sometimes reinforcements will appear where you start, so you put all your heavy hitters in the front, all your weak units in the back, and then all of a sudden they appear behind you, and it's like, oh, that's bad.
Ah, yes, death.
Alright, so you've got Ike, Boyd, Oscar, and a new character, Reese, the healer, which I'm willing to bet if you hit A on him, it'll probably give you a tutorial. No, it actually won't. Okay.
You can just...
Well, Reese cannot attack. He is strictly a healer, which means the only thing he does is uses heal stabs, which are stronger than the Vulneraries. I believe he can heal for about 20 HP. So, according to the wiki, Reese's role as an early game healer is a difficult one to oversell. There aren't even any other options until a certain character joins later. Even when this happens, some players might elect to use him anyway, at least for a period of time, due to the other player's poor base stats and staff rank. Once that player begins to catch up in levels, promoting and gaining a mount in the process, because they actually get that from leveling up, just leave him there, he'll be fine against that sword user. Let's see. Once that character begins to catch up in levels, promoting and gaining amount in the process, Reese begins to fall off. However, even in mid and late game, he still may find a niche in using the status stabs that the other character may not have the rank for yet. Like most healers in Fire Emblem, Reese is not a combat unit. While he does technically gain light magic upon promoting, this rarely does much for him, and there's even a good chance the player won't promote Reese at all unless a master set is used on him. He should never see frontline use due to his low speed and bulk. He can hold his own against enemy magical units due to his high resistance, but there's really no reason for him to confront them in the first place. So his growth rates are HP 40%, Strength 5, Magic 60, Skill 50, Speed 40, Luck 50, Defense 25, and Resistance 55. So according to the chart, I put Reese on don't use, but that's because I like using the other unit, which again I was trying not to spoil. But I prefer using the other unit. I would say, in my opinion, you use Reese until you get your next healer, and then pretty much don't use him anymore. On the other chart, I think, for the wikis, since it cut off, I believe they had him under, like, considered using him. Basically what it boils down to is likely, for strictly healing, you're going to end up with 2 people by Chapter 9, and you're going to pick one or the other, is likely what will happen. Because managing 2 healers is very hard to do. So typically you'll just say, okay, I want to use Reese, or okay, I want to use this other character. That guy's fucked.
No damage done.
Yeah, Oscar's really good against the Myrmidon units.
God.
That's one thing I've noticed with him. I usually get really good stats for defense on him. He is usually like a much more tanky build. Oh, there's the stats tutorial. Alright.
Sure. Now that someone actually needs healing.
So yeah, some do other things. Some will actually like restore status conditions, like you can get poisoned later, and so they'll do things like that. So how much you heal will be determined by the staff itself and how strong that unit's magic is. And yes, there are some that heal from a distance,
Weird.
which are really good, but you won't see those for a while. And then there's some that can be used to attack, so that one right there, he's got a chance to put that enemy to sleep.
So basically it just says on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So using a staff is like using a command, it's not a weapon. So it'll just be under your command and then you just use it. And yeah, you get experience a small bit by using a healing staff. That's the only way outside of battle experience for healers to get experience. Unless they get attacked, they get 1 experience point for it. But it is not worth the risk of putting your healer in the front line to get that 1 experience point. So one other thing that they don't show you, so I would do it before healing that guy, is hit B and like cancel that command. And go ahead and cancel it again. Scroll over to one of the enemy units. And then hit A. Okay, now, like, just go off of him, like, just go to an empty tile. All the spots that are in orange are spots he can reach on his next turn and attack.
Oh.
So, that tells you, basically, get your healer out of the way. You can do that for every single unit as well. You can toggle it for multiple units. So if you want to toggle it for the Myrmidon, for the bandit, the other bandit up there, you can do it as well.
Nice.
I don't think they tell you that till much later.
How would they get past the shrubs, though?
They're just basically spots you can stand to increase your evasion. See where it says at the top left, Avo 10, Defense 1? It slightly increases your evasion and slightly increases your defense, but you can just walk straight through those bushes.
Oh, I thought it was like Pokemon. Alright, so I think I'll just kind of scoot back a little bit.
Yep.
For the time being. And just set. So... Hi. Do your weapons break at any point in time?
Yes, they do break. In the new Fire Emblem games, they don't, which is something I don't like personally, because there's basically 3 schools of Fire Emblem. There's old, middle, and new, and I kind of gravitate towards middle. But in the new Fire Emblem games, your weapons never break, ever. But yeah, see, if you go back, well, never mind. Each time when you select a weapon, it will say like 41 out of 45 or 40 out of 45. 45 is the max uses, and 40 is how many it has left. So once it hits 0, it will break. Now, if you were going to attack twice in one round and you only had 1 left on it, it would only attack once. And then it would break, obviously.
Interesting. That kind of sucks, but okay.
And obviously later on you'll be able to like buy weapons or find weapons, and money is not an issue in this game at all. I've never had a difficulty in terms of running out of money in this game, not once. Even when I played on hard mode, I didn't have that difficulty.
So what happens if I click on rescue?
Okay, so what you can do with rescue is a lot of units, typically it's the mounted units, can rescue a character where it basically pulls them off the map and they can't take any damage. The problem is, by rescuing, whoever is the person rescuing that unit, it cuts, until they drop that unit, it cuts their speed by half and it cuts their skill by half.
Ew.
So it means it's going to be a lot easier for them to get hit twice and get hit at all. So it's something you typically only use in like really dire situations. There is a skill called Savior that eliminates those penalties.
Took almost half his health, man. Oh yeah, I guess you can just go straight through those bushes.
Yeah.
Man.
Not in trouble here.
Yep.
You're okay. Also, I love how Ike holds his sword like a monkey.
Uh-oh. Oh, wait. That's me. Okay. Or that's...
Yeah, no,
my
there's
people.
no reinforcements on the stage. I'm 100% sure there's not. Even on hard mode, I don't think there is.
Yay!
So, you can do it if you want, you don't have to, since Ike's kind of in a dire spot, but you could also just heal him. Is characters can talk to each other sometimes, so if you put Ike next to Titania, or vice versa, talk will appear as a command that you can do.
Huh.
It just gives you a little bit more flavor text, because remember, they basically ran off without her.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun conversation. So first...
Stabby stabby.
Stabby stabby. Indeed. I feel bad that I'm not leveling Ike up as much, but he's not actually managing to kill many people.
If it makes you feel any better, there's a stage early on where, when I first played, that gave me 3 other characters along with Ike that I didn't use. I used Ike for the entire map. He was the only person that attacked. He went from level 7 to level 19. It was ridiculous. And he obviously got, like, crazy strong as a result.
Alright. Whack.
I do like how every single bandit in the game has, like, a big bulb patch on the top of their head.
Beautiful.
Also, in case you're wondering, yes, it is possible, and yes, it has happened. It is entirely possible you could get a level up where you don't get a point in anything.
Oh.
But it's also possible, because remember, it's based on a percentage, you could get a level up where you get a point in everything.
Interesting.
So that's another reason that picking the random rates can kind of be a little bit of a gamble that could or could not pay off. Is because if you get lucky, it might give you everything you need, and it might give you it very consistently. But if you pick fixed, you'll get basically, you'll cap the stats that you would expect that unit to cap, and there's a very low chance that you'll cap the ones that you don't expect to.
Sorry I ran off on my own without... We'll talk about it later. But right now, shut up.
Your ass is grass later.
Yeah, later you're in danger.
Well, it's even worse for him, because Titania's not the leader of the Grail Mercenaries. His dad is, so when he finds out, then he's gonna really be in trouble.
You're gonna get grounded, boy. Alright. Proud of you. Actually, right now. Let's just stand in the thicket.
You actually picked a good spot to stand. That's called the heal hedge that will, at the start of your turn, give you a small amount of health back if you've lost any.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it'll give you like 2 to 3 points. Not that many. But it helps. Often you'll see the enemy run away and let's stand on one of those if they're at low health.
This ends well. You're gonna stay over here, buddy. Okay? Don't worry about it. This ends well.
I don't know, that ended pretty well, all things considered.
I mean, it didn't. I mean, the only way it ended well for that dude was that he didn't die.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only way it could have gone better for you is if that guy just died.
That also went poorly for them. Oh, really? You're gonna fight her? Okay. Let's do this, I guess.
Hi.
Yikes.
Remote power.
Rip, my dude. Yay, leveling up for the first time. Exciting. Alright.
Really,
Can I attack diagonally?
when you have ranged weapons, yes, you don't currently have any. But there are ranged weapons like a throwing javelin that you can pick up later on that you can attack from 2 spaces away instead of 1. Alright, you got a 56% chance of hitting. You should know in Fire Emblem rules, it's gotta be at least 80.
Darn.
Let me put it this way, in terms of how the RNG can screw you. I've had a double attack with a 96% chance to hit miss on both shots.
Ew.
Yeah. Which is why another reason I don't care for axes is because their accuracy is low. I like guarantees. It's like where it says 98%, like that's a much better chance than 50.
Go ahead and get rid of this guy with all 3 health.
Flop.
Bye.
The cool feature that they added in the sequel to this game is like if a unit got low on health, they actually would be physically like, you know, dragging their weapon or like really hunched low to the ground.
Come here.
Whack. Skirt.
Yay!
Yeah, look at that point magic.
That I'm never gonna use.
No, you'll never use it.
What's up, dude?
Now, do you want to waste the boss killing her, or do you want to save it for somebody else? That's the real... Because you will probably not get a full level if you're using Titania to kill him. How's everybody else for health before you move her? Like, back out of that and check your other unit's health. 20 out of 21. 26 out of 28.
He's not doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got half. Yeah, he's probably the lowest and he's got half health.
He might go after Oscar, though, solely because of weapon triangle. I'm not sure. It's up to you if you want to try for it. If you, like, waited your turn, he's gonna go after somebody, obviously. If he doesn't pick Boyd, you're definitely fine. If he does pick Boyd, you're still probably okay. Like, he'll be in danger zone, but he'll likely be okay.
Flanking! Oh, I still gotta do something with you. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, later on, if you don't want to bring characters into level, you can just elect not to, which is nice. For Boyd. I kind of figured he would, because that's going to be the character that's easiest for him to hit. Is typically they go for accuracy.
Ow!
Yeah, you're fine. They'll usually, their first thought in terms of AI is who can I attack that won't counterattack me, but everybody would counterattack, and then who is the easiest person for me to hit. That's usually what the AI thinks.
Come here.
Also, yeah, Ike usually has special dialogues for the bosses.
Ow! Whack. So, I guess Oscar gets it.
I mean, well, you can check Boyd's accuracy. If it's good enough, you could give it to Boyd. I prefer Oscar, but that's up to you.
Boyd's pissing me off.
Oh, right, I said we were going to talk about the bands earlier. I'll pull that window up.
Whack. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I mean about getting more experience from the non-pre-promotes. Is usually at this point in the game, it's a full level. Also, to give you an idea of how easy mode is compared to hard mode, when you kill an enemy in easy mode, you get about 60 experience. Normal mode, you get about 30. Hard mode, you get about 10.
Alright, somehow we did it. What do you mean, somehow?
Boyd, calm yourself. Calm your breasts.
Hakuna your tatas.
Kakuna your ratatas.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, the people, yeah. It's like the two that are trapped in the shed. Can we talk about this later?
You came. Nah, we're just gonna leave you there.
Also, that's nasty.
Buck up, buddy. Shut your stinking trap.
Also, pay attention to this line. He says, I'll start with the girl. And then he starts with Rolf anyway.
And dies. Rip.
Well, Rolf just fainted.
Oh.
The other guy died, though.
There's not a scratch on him. Okay, so what just happened? Did he just have, like, a stroke?
No, that would be funny.
Oh, it's an arrow.
Yeah, he got shot with an arrow.
Right between the eyes. No one. Who else could make that shot? No one. That's who. That voice.
Character-wise, this is one of my favorite characters. He's hilarious. Because he's such a dick.
'Tis I, the Frenchiest fry. You know I can't run that fast.
Yeah, good old armored units. That's like a running joke in Fire Emblem, is the armored units always have to run everywhere, which is really hard to do in full fucking armor.
I appreciate that. In the end, I got to feather someone.
Because there's feathers on the ends of arrows. Nice try.
All I did was sweat. That was hard work. You know what? I can respect that. Armor's actually pretty heavy.
She never stopped believing. She held on to that feeling.
God.
You're welcome.
My nose does not run. Well, neither does the other knight dude, apparently.
So yeah, that gives you an idea of, like, because it didn't take you as long as what the game determined the average, you get bonus experience.
Nice.
Sometimes you just straight up get some for finishing a stage, though, even if you took, like, 100 turns. It'd be like, hey, you finished the stage, good job, here's some experience.
You did a thing.
So if I direct you to do something weird, like there's some stages where we have to escape, if I direct you to, like, make some ally units escape, it's probably for bonus experience.
Ah.
Back at the fort, where Ike's in some seriously deep shit.
Yeah, dude. I'm scared. This reminds me of that scene from Our Town. The way it's supposed to happen, not the way it happened when you were in it. But
hey, that wasn't my idea, and it wasn't the teacher's either. You know whose fault it was that show got edited.
Yeah. Man. Wait, what am I saying?
Wow, what does that mean?
Oh, man. You're grounded. What? What?
Guess what? You're hanging out with these three.
What?
But you get to hang out with the sweaty guy.
Yeah.
Also, I love this line here. My belly's emptier than my first mate's head.
Oh my god.
That's pretty dang good right there. It's pretty hard.
Ed.
It's pretty hard to say I'm hungry and insult somebody in the same line.
I mean... It's such a small town. Feathering sea scum is like shooting apples off a tree. How is it like shooting apples off a tree? I don't understand.
Because they're not paying attention and they don't move.
I mean, okay, I guess.
He's basically saying that these guys are a joke.
Okay. Thunder and lightning maneuvers here. I have not learned this yet. Oh. God.
Yeah, it's not an actual maneuver.
Oh, that's them being douchebags.
Yeah.
What a tool. What should I do? Sit here. And suffer. Do I actually have to follow that?
No.
Okay.
Besides, we've got a couple things to go over before the match actually starts. Here we go.
Let's go. Oh, okay.
Alright, so this is a new thing they'll start adding into each map.
Let's talk about the preparation screen now.
So this is basically where you can start saying, I don't want to use this character, and just not select them for a map. Now, in this stage, they're kind of dicks, and they force you to use everybody anyway, but they're kind of like getting you accustomed to what you have to do later.
So in the future, you could be like, yeah, I want this one.
So what it's showing right here is like, basically, it shows at the top how many units you can have, a max, in this case it's 5. If a unit is in green, you have to use them. If a unit's in white, you can choose whether or not to use them, and if they're in red, then you're not allowed to use them. Usually for story purposes. Reposition basically means you can like switch around where they start on the map, so anybody that's on a blue square, you can move them around. So if you want somebody up closer to the front, then you can move them. Like that.
Alright.
Which really comes in handy later on.
Especially with healers that you want in the back.
View map, that's, yeah, pretty damn self-explanatory.
There you go.
You can look around at the map and see what all there is to see.
Ooh, goodness.
It does usually help to look at the map, though. Items. This is where basically you can trade any item to any character while you're on the screen.
Nice.
So if somebody's bogged down with items and you want to give them to somebody else, or if you have like a sword unit find an axe and you're like, well, they can't use this, I'd rather give it to somebody else, that's one way you can do it.
So here's that same...
Yeah, you already
thing.
saw that. They've already shown you that in the tutorial, even I didn't. Alright, whatever. Options you already messed with. Save lets you save all of your like preparation stuff that you've done beforehand. So like if you move a bunch of characters and items, then you should probably save beforehand. Also, that is not what my save data screen looks like, but okay.
Don't worry about it.
And then yeah, once you're ready, fight.
Alright.
Okay. So while you're messing with that, if there's anything that you want to change
So,
around,
we
yeah.
have to have those. So, that's probably fine, actually. Well... Okay.
Okay, so before you actually start the battle, the first thing we're going to talk about is the bands. So if you hit Y on either Shinin or Gashri, either one, because I think they both have one, the bands that you see where it says Night Band near the bottom right, these are bands that you unlock after beating the game once. So they're only available from the second playthrough onwards, since I've beaten this game about 18 times. That is not an exaggeration, because in order to unlock everything, you have to beat the game 15 times. There's 11 total of these in the game, and basically what they do is they up your growth rates. So, for example, let's see, the Night Band, it increases your growth rates for strength and defense by 5%. So typically these are put on characters you want them to be on, like the Archer Band. Archers are typically good in skill and speed, and it boosts skill and speed by 5%. So the Archer Band doesn't have to stay on an Archer, but if there's like little upgrades that you want to try and give people, like I really want this person to do well in like, let's say HP and speed, you could give them the Paladin Band.
So... we want to... defeat the boss.
Correct. I'm gonna pull up the recommendations for Gotcha and Shin shortly once it loads.
Alright, let's fight.
I will say, a character that you want to talk to with Ike will appear on the ship around turn 3 or so. So don't dilly-dally on this stage.
Okay.
They're usually pretty good about staying alive, but if they get killed, then you're not able to recruit them and we have to restart the stage. Oh, now it's telling you about bonus damage, I would guess. So basically, certain attacks, for example, arrows against flying units, can do, like, stupid high amounts of damage. Like this. To give you an idea of how broken that can be with your units, though, I gave Shinnon a crossbow in the sequel to this game once. He did 98 times 2 damage.
Jeez.
So watch out for those, because they will definitely destroy you very easily. You've seen me use Micaiah's Thani spell on like the knights and the horseback units in Radiant Dawn. That's bonus damage.
Ew.
So sometimes it's just specific classes like archers with their bows, but sometimes it can also be like certain types of magic are good against certain types of enemies. Hammers, like an actual hammer axe weapon, is really good against the knight units. So it'll be things like that, so you definitely have to watch for those. Wow, that's really bad accuracy for that archer. 58? I mean, I know he's gonna hit it, but still.
Rip. Made it through without falling asleep.
You did it!
How do you know that? You're not my real mom.
Alright, I'm gonna start with
Okay.
Shinnon while you start moving around.
So, I think we're actually gonna...
This is the level I fought solely with Ike, in case you're curious. You don't have to do that, but this is the stage. I love his profile. First line for Shinnon. He's a sarcastic, self-interested man who is seen as uncooperative. Like, you don't say.
I'm glad? Question mark?
Alright, so Shinnon is actually a pre-promote. He starts as a sniper rather than an archer. But he's level 1 sniper, with his growth rates at 75% for HP, 65 for strength, 20 for magic, 70 for skill, 65 for speed, 35 for luck, 50 for defense, and 40 for resistance. He also comes with a skill that actually makes sense to the story because he's kind of an asshole. He comes with a skill called Provoke. Yeah, I know.
She just wanted KO'd him.
Yeah, she's a pre-promote. She'll do that.
God.
He comes with a skill called Provoke, which usually tries to tempt enemies into attacking him. Because he calls, like, everybody an asshole, basically. So that makes them want to kill him, so that's why he has that skill. So story-wise, it does make sense. So because he's an archer, he can only attack from 2 squares away instead of 1.
So...
Like, right there, you can attack the guy on the right. So you can attack diagonally or 2 squares away with him. But if he gets hit, like, at a close-range fight, he will not be able to counterattack.
Nice.
Also, he's gonna have, like, an insane high crit rate, so expect to see that a lot.
Oh.
That wasn't a critical, but still.
Still a lot of damage.
So, overall, Shinnon will join early on in an aspect similar to Tanya being a powerful unit, but unlike Titania after a brief period of time, his space stats are rather low when you reacquire him after completing Chapter 18, but this is offset by amazing growth. His growth rates ensure that he can reach par with other units fairly quickly and fast enough. In addition, he has an A rank in bows, which another character may not reach for another couple of chapters. Stat-wise, he will end up with less strength, speed, and skill than your other archer, but higher HP and similar skill, defense, and resistance. So typically, kind of like with the mages, you pretty much get 2 archers, on-foot archers in the game, and you're probably going to pick one or the other. The other one you have to dump a lot more effort into, but he ends up being better. But that being said, they're still both viable. They have yes for using Shinnon. I put him as a maybe. I think, personally, in my opinion, both archers are usable. Like, you can use both in a playthrough, and I usually do. But if I personally had to pick in this game, I'd probably pick the other archer. That being said, he's still very much viable. Also, yeah, this was the character I was referring to that would show up on the stage.
Let's watch the direct combat.
After this tutorial is over, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown for Mr. Godfrey, Mr. Sweaty Man.
Mr. Schwit.
Monsieur Sweat.
Mr. Schwit. Alright.
Yeah, so like all your stats still apply, is basically what it's saying there. It's like your strength still matters, your ability to dodge still matters. And yeah, some weapons can both directly and indirectly attack. And this is a ballista! your archers can hop into that and like attack in a really widespread area like that.
Alright.
But they only have a small amount of ammunition, usually 5, and only certain enemies can, or only certain units can use them, usually snipers.
Yikes.
And what they said is true, there are rare occasions where stuff like ranged spells can actually attack from really far away, like Ballista. That's not going to do any damage, I don't know why he even bothered.
Bounce right off.
Usually when I play, that guy will attack Ike, that archer, and he won't do any damage to Ike, so there's no way he'd do any damage to Gotri. Speaking of which, his growth rates: HP 80%, Strength 55, Magic 5, Skill 55, Speed 25, Luck 25, Defense 60, and Resistance 30. He's a typical armored knight, high strength, HP, defense, and low speed and resistance with decent skill. Let's see. He can also later on use an ability called Night Ward to increase his speed drastically. With enough effort, he will likely cap HP, strength, defense, skill, and speed if you've got Night Ward. While it can be used better on other units, such as the Cavaliers, they all have sufficient speed and decent bulk, so that the Night Ward is somewhat redundant. The Night Ward's only usable by a shallow pool of units. Gotri can be an asset as he can double attack with powerful and accurate hits and take minimal physical damage in most scenarios. But he has the major flaw of all armored knights. He has crap for movement. What a surprise. Mages also have the same movement, but as a unit designed to tank front lines that he cannot get to easily, this can cause problems. He is likely superior to the 2 other armored knights you get throughout the game, so he's probably the best if you want one, but there's little reason to use an armor unit at all. Overall, he's a good armor knight, but a lacking unit. Those who dislike armor knights should look elsewhere, as there's no need to use them aside from preference. There's a critical.
Yeesh.
Yeah, snipers just genuinely have pretty high critical rates. It'll be somewhere between 10 and 20% for each shot they fire. So yeah, when I said this game has a lot of large maps that favor having high mobility, that's one of the reasons you might shy away from using the knight units. And typically knights also, while they have great defense, have crap for resistance. So if they get attacked by a mage, they will be in trouble.
Quick question. He just asked me if there were pirates outside. How does he not know?
He could be drunk, I don't know.
Man.
You got an elixir!
Alright.
Which is an item that restores your HP completely. So, a full heal.
Alright, come here. Prepare to get poked.
Poke, poke. Ah, bye.
Yikes!
Never seen Gotri get a critical before.
He was inspired by...
By saying he was sweaty.
Yeah.
Or that he wasn't worth using. There's another reason he's not worth using that I won't spoil, but if you find yourself thinking I'm not a big fan of this unit type, then don't use him.
Rip.
So for Gotri, where did I put him? I put him as a maybe, and the wiki also puts him as a maybe.
Rip.
If you want to use like that type of unit, the armored unit that's slow but has a lot of defense and strength, then use him. If not, just toss him.
Ooh, is she a healer?
No, she healed herself.
Oh.
She used a vulnerary. She's not a healer.
Okay.
She's a Pegasus Knight.
I'm glad you moved so quickly.
Yeah, his movement's only 6, so it's not going to go very fast very far.
Yeah, let's just shoot him directly over the... I'm not even on the ship yet. What is going on?
Yeah, but it shows it from the perspective of the guy being attacked, not the attacker.
I guess.
The attackee.
The attacked. Alright. Let's also not get on the ship. Wait.
You didn't even get on like the gangplank to get up on the ship.
Nope.
Oh well.
We'll just be waiting. Don't worry about it. Aha! This is bad.
Also, hello, FGG 2021. I apologize for not responding sooner, but I've been reading off a lot of information on the wiki, so I've had to been going back and forth between the 2 windows on my iPad.
I've made some bad decisions in my lifetime.
Also, that's a ranged axe in case you didn't know. That one can fire from 1 or 2 shots away.
Also get wrecked.
Yeah, no, Shinnen's gonna double attack everything. If you look at his speed, it's gonna be like 16, 17. It's gonna be really high.
Can you, like, triple or quadruple attack?
Yes and no. There's a set of items called the Brave weapons, like Brave Sword, Brave Axe, Brave Lance, that allow you to attack twice in one round. So, if you would normally single attack, you would double, but if you normally double attack, you would quadruple attack. The problem is that those weapons, because you're attacking 4 times, break really fast.
Ah.
But they can be good.
Ow.
Well, you just soften them up for the kill. Now I can get some experience.
I'll save you, Duke. And it was totally on purpose.
Sure it was. Not bad.
I mean, considering the kind of fighting we usually use him for, I would definitely recommend...
Usually the crap level ups for me is when you get a point in luck and nothing else, or you get a point in nothing.
Do you have to talk to her?
With Ike, yes.
With Ike.
It has to be Ike, though.
Alright. So, in the meantime...
Yeah, I will be telling you how to, like, recruit
morning.
each character as we go through.
Does
Since we
Ike
are
have to
going
talk to everyone?
through. Not everyone.
Right.
In fact, there's one instance where you have to step on a specific tile on the map in order to get a character here, but there's only 2 characters you can step on that tile with.
Ah, that's...
Weird. It's well worth it, though. That character is very good.
Wait. Alright. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, Bruce.
Come at me, Bruce.
Bruce the pirate.
Bruces.
It's like the least pirate-esque name ever. Critical!
Yikes. Get wrecked.
Get his ass out of here.
Thick neck.
He could be a thick neck, yeah.
I don't know, he kinda looks like a thick neck. He's definitely a thick neck.
Yeah. Hopefully you won't accidentally kill the boss before ending the chapter, otherwise we're gonna have to redo it.
That would be very awkward.
Well, because the boss does move. They usually don't, but in this stage he does move. So if he attacks Titania, we're gonna have to reset, because Titania will probably kill him.
Okay, other.
You're right.
Alright. Hi, what's up? Oh, crackers. There's too many of them. I don't want to die here. Isn't there like 2 left?
There's 1 left, it's the boss.
So cold.
Crawling in my skin, you know.
Alright. Are you going to help me? What
Nah.
else would we be doing?
Nah, I'm here to kill you.
All in a day's work.
Pshaw, thanks for helping me out.
That's nice, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just get yourself somewhere safe, please. Alright, are you sure you're a mercenary? Or handsome? What?
So you'll see her in a later stage. She'll come back and just outright join your team. But for now, don't worry about it.
Okay, so what specifically do I have to do before beating the boss?
Nothing, you just need to beat him. So I would just recommend, because he's an axe user, you probably want to go with swords. Plus, Ike also needs the experience, but since he's a pirate, he's going to have incredibly low accuracy. So Ike's going to stand a pretty good chance of being able to kill him, so you can actually get some experience for him.
Just in case, I'm gonna stick her over here just so he doesn't try to fight her and kill himself.
He's probably going to go after Gotcha this round. Nope, he's going to go for shit. But that's fine, he won't hit him. There's no way. He's too fast.
You're bustin' me gut, ye rudderless fool. Do ya truly think ye can face me mighty axe and live?
Sure.
Well, seeing as you got right up in my face and missed, I think I'm alright.
I love how the sniper too just like casually sidesteps him like problem. Yeah, just put Shinnen one step back from where he is, and then move Ike forward. Just don't attack with Shinnen, because then otherwise he'll probably kill him. Or Shinnen will probably kill him. But I don't think that guy has any range. I think it's just an iron axe.
Alright, come here.
Yeah, you should be alright. Even if he gets you in both rounds, you should be alright.
Now I know you're touched? Touched?
Probably
Touched?
touched.
We show him our axes and say our, and the gold and grub come raining down. We'll not be giving this up. Considering everyone else is dead, I think you're gonna be giving it up. Ow. So...
You'll be fine. He did 10 damage. That'll leave Ike at 1, and Ike will probably kill him next round. So Ike went from being in trouble and saying he was going to get punished to now saying that he can stand on a pirate ship and be a pirate.
Yeah.
Funny how life works that way. First I was in trouble, and now I'm a pirate.
Don't worry about it.
That's like pretty much the narrative of One Piece in a nutshell. There you go, he's dead.
Yar, help me. Why would I help you? You've been trash talking me this entire time. Yay!
Level 6? 7? 6.
6, yeah. Nice!
Very good. And you got a thief band.
Nice.
Which is, I'm going to guess that's probably luck and speed.
Driven off
Based on that.
all the pirates, your people will suffer no more indignities at their hands.
Yar
For
har.
now.
Though
Here's
you're
your
gonna
pay.
have to hire
Promise.
someone to move the boat.
They'll just keep the boat. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. You should keep the boat.
I am offended. It was our pleasure.
It is funny that they should mention that. It'll come up later. Let's just say more than one of the characters you've met in the Girl Mercenaries thus far have worked for the Empire at some point.
Ah. J-O-K-ing. Be honest, your chair just...
Yeah, I know.
um,
I actually fixed it the other day too, but there's like certain spots that if you like move back in, it'll make it fall back down.
sorry. We're professionals. You're
Professional murderers.
We're wasting our talents. Fight me. What's what? I'm just preparing to fight him.
I'm so hungry I could eat a wyvern. Please don't, they're adorable.
That would also not be very good to eat, I feel like.
Well, dragon meat must be good for people, that's why they don't exist anymore.
Yeah. I'm surrounded by idealistic fools. Me. And my life.
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, right.
There's one character that you'll see pretty soon that every time that he's around people that just don't cooperate or don't think smart, he just screams out, idiocy! And it's so funny.
Same.
It's like, yep, I can respect that. He's probably one of my favorite characters in all of Fire Emblem.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Oh yeah, you're actually going to run into him this chapter.
Nice.
And before you ask, yes, it is a him. He has really long hair, so he kind of looks like a girl, but it's a him.
Alright. It's too early for you to be yelling like that. The sun is high in the sky, my friend, so it is not too early.
In a few hours, the sun will rise.
Sounds like my grandma. Something big is happening. Something big is happening on your forehead. Alright. Oh.
Dun dun dun.
So that's why everyone's talking about joining the Crimean army.
Yes, these characters all reside in Crimea.
Ah.
In fact, it's going to pull up a map. This map will be referred to a ton, so...
Nice.
Thankfully, it's actually not that... Like, getting lost in this one's pretty hard. So the giant little, like, pagoda-esque tower, whatever it's supposed to be, that's the capital, which is Melior, and then the other dot's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So Soren went to do some research, so he went to the capital.
To the library! A wyvern rent the air, and the building was rocked by a tremor. I rushed outside and saw wave after wave of knights, cavalry, and wyvern riders, each clad in glistening ebon black, like ebony?
I guess.
Ebon?
Black is basically Dane's color, that's what their knights all wear. It's
Black
like
is
armor.
night, yeah. The Daen army, question mark. Correct. Was there provocation, question mark. As you know, relations between Cremiri and Daen have never been
That's
friendly.
putting it mildly.
Well, however, the past centuries have only seen minor skirmishes.
It was brutal and without warning. Daen laid the capital waste. I've never seen destruction on this scale before.
And it, like, actually happened?
Yeah, it actually happened.
Alright, I was wondering if this was, like, a vision of the future or something. Nope. Alright, well... Did they kill the king? Or the emperor? Or whatever?
This is the King of Daen.
Ah, not creepy at all.
Well, he is known as the Mad King Ashnard.
Ah, there you are.
And this is King Crimea's brother, so he's the leader of the army.
Ah. Alright.
So, basically, you don't know how the war's going on for the time being.
Well. That's distressing.
Yeah. And because this is, for reference's sake, time-wise, this is about the year 645 AD. So, obviously no phones. Nothing like that. So, there's a good chance the people that are on this side of Crimea, they're likely the only ones that know about it.
So it is indeed in our best interest to...
So yeah, you've got different sides of the
They're not...
Titania's for helping the knights, and Soren's against helping the knights because it's
They
not...
ain't paying us.
Yeah. I mean, they're mercenaries. They're quite literally paid to fight.
This is awkward. I feel like it's really awkward just reading this argument. Alright, that's enough, both of you. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to side with Soren on this one. Crimea, as you'll find out later, is very much like a scholarly type of country. Like, they're more focused on the academic arts and whatnot. And Daen is most definitely a war/military country.
Oh, yay. We'll just take him. Alright.
So he put Ike in charge and said, here, have fun.
That's a terrible idea.
This is for you. You got the regal
Yay.
sword.
Appreciate it.
It's a very good sword. Remember how they gave you the information on bonus damage?
Yeah.
The regal sword does bonus damage against the knights, the guys on horseback, and then also the dudes in the armor. So it's a very good way to attack them.
Nice.
Fitting, because the boss of this chapter is, in fact, the knight unit.
Nice. Alrighty. So
while you continue, I'm gonna go grab something to drink real quick. Something warm.
can you give me a water?
Sure.
Thank you. Are you feeling alright, Ike? You haven't said a word in quite some time. Well, as you can see, I'm understandably concerned. I've been on literally 2 missions. Maybe like 2.5. That's my opinion! well, let's get going, I guess. There are corpses strewn everywhere. Oh, the vast majority are dead. I think we're about to save a prince or something. Ugh, ew. I like the reaction music here. You there, who are you? What are you doing here? I'm your mom. Alright. Oh boy. This is fun. Okay. Okay. Alright. So... Okay. Alright. Okay, let's do the Trinity of Magic tutorial. Let's talk about the Trinity of Magic. Oh, come on, it'll be fun. Sounds like all my teachers ever. It's never fun. Fire, wind, thunder, and light. This is turning into rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Yeah, except light doesn't have any pluses or minuses. So basically, the Trinity of Magic is the weapon triangle, except it's fire, wind, and thunder. Light has no advantage or disadvantage against anything. But since there's only one light mage in the entire game that you can use, I wouldn't worry too much about light magic. Whenever
Alrighty.
Reese, the healer that you have, whenever he class changes, he gets light magic. That's the only person that does.
Alright.
Obviously, the magical tomes can break as well, and for defense, it focuses on resistance, magical resistance, rather than physical defense. Which is why I said the armored units were crap for dealing with mages. Their defense is good, but their resistance is typically poor.
Interesting. I'm pretty smart, don't you think? Well, considering you are an AI.
So what other tutorials did you give you?
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Some new character story as I go and find the thing.
This is gonna go hang out over here. Alright. I can respect that.
Come on, search. There you go. I can already tell you for a fact, Soren was a yes for using on my list and a yes for using on the Wiki's list. He is very good. He starts off frail, but once he gets a couple levels, he becomes unstoppable. By the time he gets to Tanya's level, he'll be doing more damage than she will. much what an archer needs.
Yeah.
Strength and skill.
Come here.
Slashy. We tried.
Rip. Alright.
Yeah, really good for Shinning, but that's fine. Yep. So Soren, the mage, he starts with wind magic. He can actually use all types of magic except for light. Just for reference's sake. So the way it works is kind of like with the weapon triangle. Wind is the most accurate, but it's the weakest of the three, and thunder is the least accurate, but it's the strongest of the three. Most people stick to wind. I've tried all three with him, and all three have worked fine. I think fire probably works best for him, but really any of the three work. So his growth rates are HP 45%, strength is 5, magic is 60, skill is 55, speed is 40, luck is 30, defense is 15, and resistance is 55. Soren is the first mage available to the player in Path of Radiance. He joins in Chapter 4 and is available in every map from then on, allowing him to quickly rack up kills and experience. Due to the fact he targets resistance, he's able to deal heavy chip damage to enemy armor knights and soldiers, among others. His offensive stats will quickly grow and allow him to readily contribute. He does, however, have several flaws. His most notable issue is a low movement. For some reason, the mages in Path of Radiance have the same movement as armor knights. This can result in some difficulty reaching the fray, especially with how prevalent mounts are in this game. His low bulk, even in comparison to other mages, can cause him issues as well, although he has fairly reliable avoid. Both of these things, some might consider him ill-suited for frontline combat, and since most of Fire Emblem 9 combat takes place on the front lines, this seriously hampers his ability. However, if the player does not mind making minor accommodations for him, Soren can prove to be a useful player phase unit. When it comes time to promote Soren, the player has the option to give him stabs, the healing weapons, or knives. Stabs are the better option by far, as he'll practically never want to use knives instead of magic, and they can give him a little bit of heal or utility. Despite his flaws, Soren is probably the best of the 5 mages and can contribute quite a bit with a proper setup. So what it's saying there, this is a very useful thing to remember. When mages class change and become sages, they have the ability to start healing. And mages, if you look at stats right now between Reese and Soren, if you go to their Y menu, because they're probably going to be, well, Reese will probably be slightly lower level. I can almost guarantee Soren will probably have better magic if he gets to Reese's level. So if you get Soren to the point where he can heal, instead of healing for about 20 damage, which is what Reese is doing, he'll probably heal for about 35, maybe 40. So when he class changes, he becomes a phenomenal healer. You can counteract the low movement by giving him an item that you find in Chapter 15 that will up his movement by 2, which helps a lot. And also the fact that they don't mention this, but a lot of Fire Emblem games, particularly the older ones, unless the unit is magic-based, usually the resistance is crap. Like Marth in the original Fire Emblem game, if you get him to level 40, his resistance is usually somewhere between 0 to 2. Like that low level of resistance. So mages are actually pretty strong in terms of attack. Really, the difficulty is you just have to make sure you keep them behind the front line so that they don't get attacked. But if they're the ones doing the attacking, they'll probably do some pretty good damage. Once he class changes, he'll start doing a pretty good job about avoiding attacks as well. So pretty much like kind of we can have to be careful with. Once he class changes, he can pretty much hold the line on his own and heal on his own.
What's up? You clearly did not just see the one-hit KO. Oh. Right, buddy.
I will warn you as well, this map the boss does move once you get in range.
Ow? Question mark?
You did it?
You hit me, that's the good news. Hey. I was in the midst of a heated battle with you, with my other dude. How dare. My dude.
Oh, they're gonna go after him. Remember, he can't counterattack when they fight close range.
Yeah.
Plus, he also has Provoke, which just increases their chance of going after him. But because of his high avoid and high HP, that also means he's a pretty good target to be like, hey, come and attack me!
My dude, you are stealing all the XP from here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be really careful with her from now on. Keep in mind, since what level is she at right now?
Not very high,
Well,
actually.
check and see what level she's at whenever you're done moving this character.
Just gonna come around to the other side. Hi. It's me.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens whenever you come after the archer. Alright. Come here, my dude.
It's nice to see archers be good. Usually in older Final games, they're kind of crap because mages just outshine them in every single way, shape, and form. Like, in the older games, mages had better movement, better health, better speed, better skill, better defense, and better resistance. So there's pretty much no reason to use an archer. Plus, they can also attack from 1 or 2 squares, so if they can attack, they can actually counterattack. So there's pretty much no reason to use them back in the day. Unless you just really liked them. That'll set up for a kill for Soren, so that's good. Nice, point or HP, point strength. Those are the big ones that you need to get is the strength.
Yeah, she is at level 3.
Okay, so keep in mind that she's a pre-promote. That basically means she's at level 23. Compared to all your other units, which are around somewhere between 4 to 6, usually.
Hey.
That's why she does so much more damage.
That's what the wind is, right?
I also forgot to mention it, the wiki didn't mention it either, that green light that went around him, that was his skill. It's called Adept. That allows him to attack twice in one round, or have a chance to. So,
Nice.
potentially, he has the chance to attack 4 times in one round. And he does it back-to-back, too, so like if he hits once and it doesn't kill, he'll attack again immediately. It's a really, really good skill to have. It's often considered one of the better ones, in my opinion, when you pair it with a skill called Vantage, where if you get attacked, then you still go first. So if you pair it with Adept, somebody could attack you, and you might be able to get 2 hits on them before they can attack you. Which late game means basically they attack you and they still die first. Also keep in mind that will mean that Titania will get the boss kill.
I'm gonna come hang over here. Got the bush. That's a nice boulder.
That's a bush, but okay.
Well, the boulder that's a little off to the side. Also, can you please not?
He'll be fine. He'll do like 1-2 damage maybe. Or miss.
That could happen too. It happens, I guess.
In their defense, it's hard to aim when you fire a bow that quickly. As somebody who's shot compound bows, you have to like take your time and aim. Unless you fired a lot.
Well,
How much health does the Myrmidon have? The one that just attacked you? 11. You might be able to kill him with Sword, maybe. He probably won't double, but he might do enough damage.
I love how he's just staring at the bush over there. So proud of him.
Let's see. Well, if he gets the Adept, he will kill him. No.
Still not bad. It's a little bit of experience.
He gets about 50 experience per kill, so he gets levels pretty quickly if you set up for him. Wow.
Alrighty.
Meanwhile, Mr. MC Sweaty.
Don't worry about it.
I'm pretty sure that guy's accuracy was 20, so it probably won't even connect anyway. Oh, it did, wow. Too bad it
He's
didn't
still
matter.
dead,
Yeah,
but
too bad it didn't matter in the slightest.
nothing really matters.
That moment when you try so hard and get so far.
And in the end,
Yeah, so those two trees that are just above, or just to the left of where your character is, those are like actual trees. At the top left of the screen, it will tell you what each object is. So if it is like a proper tree, it actually will not be able to be passed through.
but the thickets are fine.
Yeah. Remember, you can also hit A on the enemies, and it will show like how far their attack range is.
I just hide in the hill hedge. Will they attack me from there?
If they can reach you, they will attack you. So pretty much the best way to do it is if you back out of that menu, and then go to the the back units, like on the enemy team. Like not the guy in the front, but hit A on the other three. Yeah, those three. No, not him. Just the other three. Like the boss, that guy that you already have, and the archer. So if you step into any of those squares, then any of those three could possibly attack you. Now hit B, and then hit A on that guy. Will be on an empty square. And then hit A on the one guy you didn't select. That's his attack range. So you want to try to lure them out individually, and then just kill them off one by one. One of the things that pays off a lot in Fire Emblem is letting them come to you, if you can make them do that.
So basically, I can move right there.
So, okay, this time try going for, instead of doing that, highlight just the boss, and not the other guys. That's how far you can stand without the boss being able to reach.
So I can move right here.
Yeah. So if you move there, you'll probably get attacked by the other guys, but not by the boss.
There we go. Perfect. I'm almost offended at this point, you guys. If you're gonna attack me, at least hurt me. This way it's just, I know you're trying to hurt my feelings,
Hey,
you
that
know?
killer.
It's not a very good one, clearly.
Well, it's weird because in the old games, knights were referred to as, like, knights are the big armored dudes, like Gotri. The problem is, in newer games, they call the horseback units knights, like they're knight paladins. So when it says knights, it's actually referring to the armored units.
Ah.
The poleaxe is the thing that the cavalier units are linked to. It's weird. They just decided to switch for no reason.
Don't worry about it.
Before paladins promote, there's basically like there's sword knight, axe knight, and lance knight. Like Oscar is a lance knight, but Gatry is just a knight. It's weird. Alright, so I would save Ike and Soren for killing the boss and just focus on the other two. Because Ike and Soren can do it on their own.
You can't fight back.
Critical.
Bye.
Funk.
Yay!
Level 23. Nice. And you got a steel lance, so you gotta choose one item to throw away.
So...
I would keep the bows and the hand axe for sure. Drop one of the lances. Probably the
Which
iron.
one is...
So basically this is the way it works. If you hit Y on this map, it'll show you all their stats. So the Iron Lance will do less damage, but it's less weight, so it's easier to double attack with it. But the Iron Lances are also easier to come by than the Steel Lances, so that's why I would say keep the Steel one.
Okay. Come here. Come here. Get wrecked. Okay, so I'm gonna probably
This is going to be the final turn, more likely.
move her over here. Okay,
I would heal Ike first with Reese if Reese can reach. That'd be the first thing I'd do. So now it depends on who do you want to get the kill. Do you want Ike to get it, or do you want Soren to get it?
Probably Ike.
Alright, so then you're gonna have Soren attack first. This guy does have range, so he'll still be able to hit you, but he should not be able to kill you.
Are you ready to die? Yikes. Okay.
Alright, so you might be able to also soften him up with Godfrey too if you really need to. Like, I would check and see how much damage your armored unit can do. Because he probably can damage that boss without killing him, and then that makes it easier for Ike to be able to damage him.
How do I see him?
You just walk up to the guy and act like you're going to attack him, but then just don't hit A. It's like, initiate combat like you would, so you walk up next to him and hit attack, and if you want to cancel out of it, you can just cancel out of it with B. So you can hit A one more time and see how much damage you do, and then if you don't want to do this, you can back out.
So...
I would go ahead and try for it, though, because you're going to do 11 damage, that'll leave him with 14 health. Now you should be able to kill him with Ike. So here's the difference in bonus damage. So go ahead and attack him, and then select Iron Sword, but don't fight with the Iron Sword. So it does 1 times 2, now back out with B once and switch to Regal Sword. So now it's enough to kill him. Now it's 9 times 2.
Once you're dead, you'll stop sassing me. Get wrecked. Gwaha! Wretched curs, you will regret your decision to oppose Dan.
Spoiler alert, they won't.
They really won't. Oh, yes.
Level 8? 7? 8. Now this can happen on rare occasions. You actually got 2 points in health. It does not happen often. I've played this game, again, about 18 times. I've seen it happen maybe 6 times. Through all the characters. It's very rare.
Did we suffer any casualties? Any wounded or dead? No. We did, though.
Yeah, they're wounded. Not any dead. Well, at least not on your side, there's not. But dead?
Yeah.
But wounded? Yeah, Soren took a javelin to the face.
Yeah. Oh, man. Swine's got some nice weapons. Besides, he ain't gonna complain. He won't need them where he's going.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean...
You're in a war. Shouldn't you be
Hang
trying
on.
to steal from the dead?
I have some questions. Why are they stopping him?
In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of famous, like, people that almost conquered the world did that.
I mean, yeah. There's a thicket.
Oh no.
That's a hell of a thicket.
It's even worse.
Leave her.
It's a woman.
Savage.
No.
Oh,
It's an
hey.
escort mission. No.
I told you. I said earlier that there was some member of the royal family that we were gonna have to save.
Oh, that must have been while I was gone.
Yeah, it was. Yay!
You will get a chance to use that later on, by the way. I think it's chapter 8 where you get to start using that bonus experience.
Yay!
But for now, we move on to chapter 5, Flight. This is probably the first stage where you'll actually have quite a bit of difficulty.
Difficulty.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're at the mercenary fort. She's awake. Let's greet our guest that we sort of kidnapped a little bit.
I wouldn't give somebody that idea. What if like somebody ended up finding another person like collapsed on the road and they took them like to their home and nursed them back to health and then they got sued for kidnapping?
I mean,
This is America. It could happen.
yeah.
It could legit happen.
Well, there's a reason why we have the Good Samaritan law. It's because people kept suing people for doing CPR on them.
Yeah, that's why you have something on your medical file called Do Not Resuscitate.
And it wasn't even on your medical file. Like, they'd come across someone in the middle of the road that had collapsed and needed CPR, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to be a good person and save this guy. And then they'd turn around and get sued.
You should have let me die. And then the guy's thinking, yeah, I should have let you die.
It's like that scene in The Incredibles. You didn't save my life, you ruined my death. Oh, man.
This is what happens when you pull a Saving Private Ryan and let somebody live. It just comes back to haunt you. Yep.
Uh-huh. The princess. That's an odd claim to make. That is to be expected? What?
So basically, yeah, she was born after her uncle was, so her uncle was supposed to take the throne, so that's why she was never made known to the public.
Because otherwise it would be
They would have
super
started
awkward.
fighting for the throne, and we all know in terms of, like, real-life history how that's ended up with a lot of problems.
Oh my god.
So, yep, the king is dead.
Oh no.
Her uncle is still battling the Dane army from what they know. So they ended up trying to go to a different country, which is Gallia, trying to basically seek shelter through another country that the king was on good terms with.
They told everyone just in case.
No, they didn't tell Diane. They didn't tell Diane.
I thought she just said that they did.
No, they were referring to, or not Crimea, they were referring it to Gallia. So, like, all the Crimean royals know, all the Gallian royals know, and all the Benyon royals know.
Ah. So that'd be just super awkward. Just like, hey, by the way, I had a kid, except super secret, so don't tell anyone. Okay, bye.
Yeah, keep in mind, she has no proof to prove that she's the princess, either.
Of course not.
So yeah, at one point, Titania actually was a Crimean royal knight, which is why it was funny that one guy mentioned, like, hey, you should work for the Royal Knights. Hi, Rolf.
We've got trouble right here in Trouble City. Well,
Ready to fight?
pretty straightforward.
I mean, yeah. Either do this or we attack. I mean, whether it confirms our identity or not, the soldiers think she is.
So they're legitimately about to attack us, so let's take a quick timeout and do a town hall meeting.
Might as well. So yeah, you get kind of like a 50-50 thing here.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
no.
Gautrey's also like a player of the highest caliber, and by the highest I mean the lowest.
Gotri, you're a tool.
He is, he really is.
I love this urgent music as they host a town hall.
Yeah. And it looks like they've been outvoted, and by they I mean Shinnon and Soren.
Yep.
They escort the princess to Gallia. And let's be real, they would have attacked anyway. Yep.
For shame.
I mean, it's a war, so really kind of mostly. All's fair in love and war, as they say.
Man. Okay, but they're not surrounded, though.
Well, yeah, there's no way to get in through the back. So
No, apparently there's a rear entrance, so...
No, I mean, like, behind the thing that Ike is standing to.
Oh, okay.
Grail's gonna go off to the right, because there's 3 entrances, and he holds off that one by himself. So you have to block 2 of the entrances.
That's
Like, you don't control Grail in this map at all.
Well, that's nice. Alright, so... Okay, first question. Okay.
Alright, so your goal in this one is to survive for 6 turns. You can kill the boss, and if you highlight over the boss really quickly with Y, he does have something that he drops if you beat him. Yeah. And a share icon. If something is highlighted in red on a character, that means they drop it when they die.
So, is
The
that
Ashir-
something we desperately want?
The Ashera icon is an item that raises, you pick it and onto a character, you put it on a character, and it permanently raises their luck by 2. So it's up to you if you want or not. I don't think luck's an important stat, but if you want to try to go for it, you can. Plus, of course, you get the experience for beating the boss. So it kind of just depends on if you want to play defensively or offensively. Usually, if you want to try and go kill the boss, you'll block off the 2 exits with people that can survive, and then send a really strong character to go kill the boss that can survive a ton of hits. So usually Godfrey, Titania, if you've leveled them up a lot, Ike, or if you've leveled them up a lot, Oscar.
So, do I don't have to stay on here, right?
No, you don't have to stay on there.
Does someone have to stay on there?
No.
Okay.
Basically, the way it works is in the 6 turns defense, one of the defeat conditions, if you go to conditions, one of the defeat conditions if you hit A is if somebody on the enemy team gets to that point, then you lose.
Okay.
Usually Ike would die before that happened, which would also result in failure, but that is one other way you can fail. I've never had that be an issue on this map. So usually you're going to want to block off those 2 spots right there on the entrance, and then the other 2 on the left. And block them off with characters that can actually hold the line. So, not Soren, not Reese, and not Shinnen. Critical!
Get wrecked.
Right in the shoulder.
Nice. Oscar is actually kind of precious.
I like him as a character. He's actually like one of my more favorite Aground mercenary characters.
Okay. So I'll just wait right here. Unblock almost the
I will warn you, the brunt of the force will come from the south entrance, not the west.
This one?
Yeah.
So...
Like, send a couple characters to the west to, like, block off that section, but you don't need more than, like, maybe 2 or 3. Usually on that left side, I send either Gautry and Boyd, Gautry and Titania, or Titania and Boyd. So some combination of those 3. Gautry will not die pretty much no matter what you do if you send him that way. Boyd you'll have to be a bit more careful with, obviously. Reese, if you block off enough spots, he can be useful.
I mean, Soren. Because he still doesn't do a lot of damage.
Once he starts doubling, he'll do pretty well. He's definitely going to get attacked this round.
Probably.
That soldier's going to go past Gotcha and Titania and attack him. I'm 100% sure.
Oh. Well. Ouch. Oh, hi.
A hammer!
It's a pretty sick hammer.
I don't know why he didn't go after Gotcha. He could have done bonus damage against him.
Well, it doesn't matter now. He's dead.
He might actually drop it.
Is he?
Might.
Please? Darn.
No, he did.
Yeah! You're right, let's not go 3 steps further.
He could probably. Movement
Ooh.
for soldiers is pretty low. The other soldier will definitely go after him, though. Not that one, but the other guy. Fire Emblem has a bad habit of knowing if it can attack a character that you get left out in the open, it will move every other unit first.
Yikes. She gets criticals a lot.
It's just because the axe. Some weapons have like higher kill. There's actually a set of weapons called the killer weapons that have like crit rates of about 30%, and they're crazy strong for criticals.
Also, I'm sorry, Boyd. It happens.
As they say on airlines, shift happens.
It's weird.
I'm so glad that like the appeal to get rid of that joke got revoked and that they can start using it again.
Which joke?
Shift happens instead of shit happens. Like a lot of people complained about that.
Appeal on what?
They thought it was inappropriate.
Who banned it?
Wasn't United with Southwest, wasn't American. It was an international company that banned it for a while, and then a lot of people were like, yo.
This is hilarious.
They're like, yo, the whole point of saying shift instead of shit was so that there wasn't any swearing.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It was dumb.
God.
Yeah, that was what I was expecting. That's gonna do probably about 14, 16. No, 10.
Ouch. Ooh, yay. Still probably won't help very much.
Well,
But
magic for him is strength, so that increases his damage.
I am getting very nervous.
Oh, don't worry, they always do this. That's why you walled off that section.
Sure.
Yep.
Defending that spot. Okay.
Yep. If it's a green flashing spot, don't let them get to it.
Really? They're telling me this now?
I mean, yeah, that's why I told you when the game started. Game over, man, game over. They made the reference. I'm proud of them. And yeah, usually I never have anybody standing on the actual defense point, ever.
Thrilled.
The best defense is a good offense. Yeah, you know what I've also heard? Offense doesn't win championships or Super Bowls, defense does.
Okay.
How much of my help do you want to get out of this situation?
Because I know that he is very near death and needs to move away.
I can tell you right now, based on what I would do, you can clear out all the enemies that are actually inside the fort and block off the fort all in one round.
I mean, yeah, because
Without moving Void or Oscar at all.
Her move forward and get him, and then have him take out him. Or I could move him to... How much health does he have left? He might be able to take him out.
Remember, you can always check before actually committing to, like, the...
Yeah.
But don't have him stand right next to the guy, if you're actually going to fight him.
Yeah. So that would
No,
be...
not quite. I'll leave
Okay.
him with 3.
So not quite. So never mind. So that means he definitely can't kill that guy. So he can move back and move him forward.
I think, honestly, because Ike's not doing anything, because he's not holding the line, you could probably weaken him with Ike, the guy next to Soren, if you used a weak enough weapon, and then have Soren kill him. If you attack with an iron sword, it probably would be enough to keep him alive. Yeah, that's gonna leave him with 6.
needs to move that away and then attack, right?
That should be enough to kill him. Yep. Because see, his magic went up by 1, so now he does 7 damage instead of 6.
Aha.
So that'll give him about 50.
Feel on.
That'll give him about 50 experience, roughly. Maybe a little bit more.
Nice.
Yeah, good guess. 52. I'm glad that that slow-moving knight that was running towards him, he didn't bother to, like, you know, dodge at all.
See, I would have run away. Call me a coward,
Well,
but
like,
I would have.
even when he stopped running and started doing, like, the motion to, like, move the lance back, it's like, okay, he's clearly about to attack. You should probably get ready to move out of the way.
Even just sidestep, just a little bit, you know? Okay. Are there more people gonna show up?
Yes, reinforcements will appear on that side.
Okay.
It won't be very much. Really, you could probably just leave Titania and Daughtry on, like, that little 2-block gap, and then not worry about it for the rest of the fight. Because it's just gonna be archers and fighters.
Okay.
Now really all you have to worry about is the lower half, or the southern half.
I'm gonna come sooner here so I can eventually get to Soren. So.
Also, now that Oscar's fighting soldiers instead of fighters, he doesn't have to worry about the weapon triangle disadvantage, it'll just be neutral, so he'll actually start doing a little bit better.
Nice.
Eventually on easy mode, though, you just get so high level that the weapon triangle just doesn't matter in the slightest. That should leave him with 2. And he's got 2. Nope, he's dead.
Rip.
My mistake.
Bold of you to underestimate.
Oh, I'll always underestimate Boyd. He's sucked in every playthrough I've ever used.
Okay, so I think that just leaves him.
You're a sniper, yeah.
And he can probably just stay right there for a little bit.
I mean, you can move him forward if you want. Nobody's gonna come through that back entrance, so you don't really need anybody on the defense square.
He can probably just chill here. Okay.
Shot the butt with an arrow for 4 damage. Or he could miss.
He's gonna laugh if I give him a level up.
It can happen. That's actually a strategy in Radiant Dawn that a lot of times I have to use.
Hey, if I get
Taking
shot
a-
4 more times.
I think you still get the experience point if they miss as well.
Yeah. There we are. Hello. I appreciate that. Nice.
Defense would have been nice, but you can live without it.
I mean,
Oh, that's not gonna do squat. It's gonna be like 4 damage tops. Yeah, 2.
nice.
Yeah, I think it's based on, like, it's a percentage, so the higher health is, the more points it heals.
I'm gonna come to over here.
There you go. So that side's pretty much blocked off.
So if I stand right here, I can shoot over
You can hit the soldier,
right?
but the soldier can't hit you.
Perfect.
Because he doesn't have range. That was why I said you might want to move Shinnon down there earlier. Plus Boyd also needs healing like really badly.
Probably.
He's at 7.
So definitely. So I may actually scoot him back and then switch him out for Ike.
That could work.
Just kind of.
I'd put him 1 more, yeah, because the archer can still get him from 2 away.
What's up? Come here. Come here. Yay!
Not bad.
Nice. Didn't particularly need the magic, but still appreciate it nonetheless.
As
What's
for
up,
you,
You're
Hey,
about to
remember me?
get it. In my defense, he was the one that moved there.
that's true.
So that was his bad decision.
yeah, that was on him.
Yay!
Much like dinners on Dad, that was on him. Yeah, there we go. I was hoping
Nice.
for a perfect level right there. I was like, oh, first one too.
Okay, you need to stay right there. Alrighty. Because if I move him right here, he can't get hit, right?
He can't get hit, yeah. Unless somebody throws a ranged weapon at him, but he would counterattack that anyway because he uses bows.
So we're just gonna wait right here.
That's usually the formation that I have in the front line is Ike and Oscar in the front, and then Soren and Shin behind him.
Ow. Rude. Next question is, how many turns has it been?
I think you're on 3 right now. Enemy 3.
So the bottom of the third?
Yep. Nice.
Yay! I don't know what that means.
That means you'll be able to use stronger weapons later.
Yay! Ow. Heh. You stab me, I stab you back. Okay, what is your issue, man?
Oh, you missed.
What's your damage, dude? Alright, so, first of all, I'm gonna come stand right here.
You're not gonna heal Boyd?
Here, I forgot who was Boyd for a second. Here we go. Okay. Hi, Boyd.
I just call him Grasshead.
Yeah, but there's so many green-haired people.
Yeah, but his looks especially like grass.
Understandable. Okay. I'm gonna come chill right here. You need to go right there.
Before you attack that guy, hit A one more time to see how much health he's got. He's 10. Soren might be able to kill him too if you want Soren to get the experience instead of Boyd. Boyd will definitely kill him that round though, because his accuracy is 100 and he does 12 times 2. But if you want Soren to get the kill instead of Boyd, you can set up one for Soren. It kind of just depends on who you want to get the experience to.
Can Soren attack this guy?
No, Shinnon can. That's 3 blocks away from where Soren is.
Ah.
Diagonal counts as 2 spaces away.
Oh.
That's why you can't hit the soldier where Oscar is next to him.
So I was gonna say, otherwise that just means that Boyd doesn't do much of anything. And he doesn't really do much, so that's probably okay. Just chill right here. Hey, what's up? You gotta stay right here.
Yeah, see, now his speed's fast enough where he can attack twice in a round.
Nice.
So he only needs a couple levels to be good.
What's up? And again!
Because keep in mind, both of those turns that he takes, he also has the chance to activate a depth, which would let him hit a 3rd or maybe a 4th time.
Nice.
So once he gets rolling, he's good. And he'll almost consistently cap magic skill and resistance. He'll end up with like 28 magic by the end of the game. I hope that guy wasn't enjoying playing with that javelin too much, because he's about to go away.
Rip. That's what he gets, man.
That's what you get for throwing sharp objects at people. That's my job.
Alrighty.
That's Oscar at health-wise. You could use a vulnerary. He's probably got one in his inventory, just in case. He's probably fine, but you might as well.
I'm just chilling.
Because again, you'll be able to buy healing items, and they're like super cheap later on, so if you can use it, it's probably a good idea too. Also, if you want to end your turn instead of making everybody wait, if you go to an empty spot on the board and hit A, the final option is end turn on the list. So you don't have to keep doing that for a character you don't want to move.
Neat. Ow.
Really thought that I really thought that horseback guy was going to double attack Void there. I was almost certain of it. Oh well. That's not going to do anything.
Ding. As Al from Full Metal Alchemist would say, ricochet, ricochet!
You mean Full Metal Alchemist? Yeah, see, if the maps weren't so centered on moving around so much, Knights would be great. If this was like a primarily defensive game, Knights would be wonderful to have.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't damage him at all right now. Mages don't even appear for another 1 or 2 chapters. Because you haven't seen any enemy mages at all. I think it actually is next chapter that one appears, but he doesn't actually move for some reason. He doesn't like move to attack you or anything, and you'll rarely see a mage as a boss. I think a mage only comes up as a boss like twice in this game.
Okay, so
you're on turn
first...
5. So if you can survive the enemy's the enemy's upcoming round and then the next one, then you're good.
Well, I want the thing.
What, the luck thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to make a rush for it then. Because usually by the time the boss gets to the spot, like your actual fort, the map's over.
Rip.
I love how they fall over and the horse just stands completely still, like, yep, you just killed another one.
Like, yep, okay, that happened. Don't worry about
Like,
it.
last I checked, when riders fall off their horses in war, they usually kind of flip the fuck out, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but I could be wrong.
Don't worry about it.
Since we had that discussion in Dr. Fair's class last week.
If I move him forward one to attack this guy with that...
Yeah, you could do that and then move him back. Remember, he has that ability to, like, move his remaining spaces if he has to use them all after he attacks.
Here. Hey, come here. Eh. Just because I don't like your face. Or your attitude.
I don't need your handouts. You could do the same thing with Titania, too, if you wanted to. Just run forward, kill that archer, and go back, because you're not going to be able to get him with Gotcha without moving.
Yeah, you know, with all the damage she's doing.
I know, but it's free experience.
I mean, good point.
That's pretty much how most Fire Emblem players think, is like, hey, it's experience. Like, that's why you'll see people heal their, their allies for 1 damage every single turn. It's like, that character doesn't need healing, it's just to get you experience each time you do it.
Excuse me.
Because back in the earlier Fire Emblems, like, there was no bonus battle experience you could give to players later on in the game. You only got experience from maps. There was nothing. So that was the only way you could get healers to level up, was by just healing over and over and over. That's why you did it all the time. This game, if you want to just dump a bunch of experience into a healer, you can do that. Which is why it's a little bit easier to use characters that you have to invest a lot in, because you don't have to put them in danger to do that in this game.
Get wrecked.
It'll be alright. Your steel axe broke, though.
Oh, no. I have another X. Don't worry about it.
Honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world if your weapons break early on in the game, because you'll start running out of inventory space in probably like 2 to 3 stages, and so it'll force you to drop items if you don't have enough people around.
Ah, that's great.
Well, that's a good setup for anybody who wants to get that kill with 1 health left.
Probably gonna be my archer.
Alright, final turn.
Okay. Alrighty, my dude. Okay. How do we want to go about this?
I don't think you're gonna be able to get it, honestly. I don't think you have enough players over there to be able to kill him. And then survive the turn with all your characters.
Yeah.
Pretty much the way you have to do it when you play normally is, you'll have, like, Shannon or Boyd over on the left where you've got them instead of Titania or, usually Titania, maybe Ike. And then you'll have, like, of the 2 people in the front, you'll put somebody to just basically run through and you'll kill the boss and then run back. That's pretty much the safest way to do it.
Nice.
Should be level. Yep.
Good job.
I mean, it was speed,
I'm a
so
little bit
that's good.
disappointed, but also at the same time, I'm not.
It was a good stat to get the only level up in, so really it could have been worse.
Not even using my good arrows on you. Heh. Okay.
And there goes that archer.
Come here.
Rest in peace, Sterling.
Yeah.
He probably died screaming, Lana!
Yay.
Level 10.
Not bad.
Really, you're gonna have a couple stinker levels. It happens to everybody. You can kill the 2 guys on the left, too, by the way. Because I don't think there's anybody... Yeah, there's nobody else over there, so even if you left that left side wide open, there's nobody to go and try to steal the point.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if I want Ike to retreat. I probably do.
I would just have him use a boulder and just stay there.
Oh,
Because that put him up to 24 out of 25. And it probably goes without saying that thief band you got later, or earlier in the last map, you'll obviously have an actual thief to give that to later on down the line.
Is that a terrible idea if
That's
I
a
have him
really...
run up?
Boyd will get attacked by 4 units at minimum, including the boss, and probably the archer down there.
He's going to die.
If you really wanted
Let's
to
come
get
back to the
experience,
bush.
I
Over
would
here.
just, like, move Titania out of the way and then have him attack the soldier. If you wanted to get, like, some last round experience. Yeah, because that guy's only at 3, so Boyd will, like, most definitely kill him.
I'll have her get the... This dude.
And really just put her anywhere because it doesn't matter. Slashy.
Gonna hide your wife, hide your kids. Cause they slashing everybody out here. Darn.
Oh,
So
that
close.
That happens a lot. Get used to that. It happens more often than I like to admit.
Alright. So all they gotta do is survive.
Yep. There's no way they can capture point, even if it was completely unguarded. It's too low for them. Only way you lose now is if the character
Ow.
dies.
Which means they're all going to attack Ike, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
Not enough spaces. He can only be attacked from 4 different spots, and most of his character dominate range. Plus, they might also go after Oscar. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I think the boss has a throwing weapon, but aside from that, I think that's pretty much much it. Yep. Mr. Javelin.
Ow.
There you go. That's it.
Oh, boy, am I glad. Really?
It's even funnier if you kill him, just an off-screen soldier will be like, "We lost our commander, we have no chance," and then they just run away.
Nah.
Which I've actually gotten it to one point where I killed so many people on the final round, there was nobody left on the map to say it, so it was quite literally an off-screen soldier.
Man.
Anything else we burn? I'm down for burning stuff. Let's do it. I mean, he's not
Okay.
wrong.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Time does go by faster when you're actually doing something. Also, that's not the mess hall. Mess hall, we saw background of it earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why we're pulling a different asset from what looks to be like a supply area. This is important because it has a cutscene.
It's a scarf? Oh, no. I thought she was talking about the scarf.
No.
Maybe.
It's like a 5-second cutscene, but that means it's clearly important. Because there's only 6 cutscenes in the entire game, and you've already seen 2 of them, including that one.
I wonder what that light is. Clearly something magical, and I don't think you should pry any further. What? Wait. It just started glowing and she hasn't told anyone?
Keep in mind, this world does have magic in it, so she might just think, magic.
I mean, Harry Potter also has magic, and yet Ginny Weasley should have picked up a diary that writes back to her and said,
Yeah, you'd think so. Also, this will normally be just like a random-ass soldier if you kill the boss. This is his general.
I'm actually glad I didn't kill him now, because now he's dishonored.
Death before dishonor.
Get this trash out of here.
Not detention! Take him away! There's a reference that no one will remember but me.
Question, are they actually as animalistic as everyone is saying they are?
Oh yeah, like very much so. They're pretty, She actually has a pretty important title tied to her, but it will come up later. And she's probably not the most important person in that group of 4.
I love the music in the background.
Oh yeah, like the I got a job following fat people around with the tuba noise.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate brass, I love the tuba just because it just sounds so funny.
It's really some next level stuff.
Pretty much the only brass instrument I like is not actually classified as a brass instrument.
What is it?
Saxophone. It's a woodwind.
That's technically a woodwind. Yeah.
Based on the composition of what's inside of it, it's a woodwind, yeah.
Also the reed.
Yeah. Strings always are first, then percussion, and then woodwind, and then brass.
Have you seen the freaking piccolo trumpet and the piccolo trombone?
Oh, yeah.
They're so tiny,
They're
and
tiny.
they're so funny. Alright,
So now you get a recap. Crime is getting attacked by Dan. That's Dan in the red.
Alright, good to know.
It actually does show their colors here, too. Dan's red and black. Go Red Raiders, I guess. Not really. I don't care. And Crimea is yellow and, or gold, whichever you prefer, and white. So it's just like how they would expect you to believe in any generic RPG that's slightly borderline racist. Black is bad and white is good.
Basically. Definitely like any Western movie.
Yep.
Which is definitely racist.
Oh, yeah. And you think Gautry has to deal with, like, sweating all that armor. Imagine the armored units of Day, and they're wearing black. All that heat's getting generated inside there. It's just that much worse.
So, follow-up question. Why don't they... What the hell?
Remember how I said there was racism in this game? Yeah, there's different races. It's not just humans.
Oh, so they're actually animals.
Sort of. They're demi-humans. They're half human, half animal. They can transform into animals.
So they're actually part animal.
Yes.
Okay.
So
my question is, I know that we're over here, but if it's such a bad idea to go to this country, or if everybody figures that's where you're gonna go, why don't we go like east?
Because that's closer to Dan. Because you'd assume that if Dan was actually
It's
plotting
like, what's here?
But if Dan was plotting a full-scale war, they would send units in probably every direction regardless. So you would run into them faster that way.
I guess, yeah. So, next question. Why are we taking the trees instead of hitting up the coast?
Because you
And
can't.
taking a boat?
You actually take a boat later in the game, but it's not from there. But they plan on going to Gallia's capital because, again, the king, the ex-king, since he's now dead, of Crimea and the king of Gallia were friends. Because most of the time in this game, the subhumans slash demi-humans, which subhumans is kind of like the derogatory term for them. Poor Gautry.
If we weren't being traced, I'd strip off this armor here and now.
I feel like in a way it would help because it would make him go faster. It's just he would have less defense. You'd be sacrificing
yeah.
defense for the potential chance to get away, so... Really take your pick.
Either way, he's a tool.
Oh yeah, he's still a tool.
Us delicate humans, you've gotten shot by arrows at least 4 times in the last thing. Like...
I mean, he just, like, shrugged it off like it's nothing, really.
Man.
He'll be alright.
Are they really so different from us?
Also, yes...
Now, let's have a conversation about racism.
Yeah, they do.
Right now.
Obviously, Shinnen's, like, massively racist, and Ike has never met any of them before.
Shinnen is just...
I mean, he's not just a
Narcissistic.
racist, like, to them. He's kind of an asshole to everyone, if that makes anybody feel any better. He's an ass to Ike, an ass to pretty much everyone but Grail.
Cause like he is racist. He's just also an asshole.
Yeah. So it's like, he doesn't pick on just them. He picks on pretty much everybody. Not that that makes it better, but at least you know it's the same treatment for everybody. So there are 3 different types of demi-humans. The Beast Tribe, the Bird Tribe, and the Dragon Tribe. Yes.
I would love to be a part of the Dragon Tribe.
Well,
can I be part dragon?
Sadly, you're going to Gallia, which is the Beast Tribe,
Ah.
which are felines, so you'll see cats and tigers. Also lions, oh my. And then, the islands at the tail end of the map, like the tiny-ass islands out in the ocean, that's where the birds live. So they're the hawks and the ravens.
I'm feline good. Oh my god.
And here comes the tuba! Fried mushroom heads.
I thought they already knew this?
They did. She's kind of like the advisor for Katrine.
Patrine, more like a latrine.
In the latrine. That being said, I love her armor. Like, the gold and black looks really cool. Also, that's a slight throwback to the older Fire Emblem games, because you actually had, like, your own character in the game that was the tactician, who, like, the tactician was the person, like, you, quote-unquote, commanding everybody.
Huh.
In the newer Fire Emblem games, there's actually, like, a proper tactician character that fights, but in the old games, it was just, like, a character that never actually fought. But it was supposed to be you actually in the game.
Interesting.
Some of our group cannot fight if we are caught. We'll have a difficult time defending them against Danes. We separate into 2 groups, a small fighting force enough to engage the enemy, and then the rest of them will escort the princess to Gallia. So we're gonna split up and look for clues.
Yep, basically.
Really, this is just more so a way to make you not have to command every single unit all at once.
I mean, I didn't mind that, actually. But
It's more just a way to ease you into it, because I think the most you'll ever have to command in one battle is 18, but don't quote me on that. I think it's 18. So Grail, Gautry, and Shinnon, because again they don't want you to play with Grail, are going the other way. I don't know why they're sending Gautry to run, because that seems like a... Small numbers mean better mobility. Takes the armored unit with him.
you've only got one life. YOLO.
I plan on burning through another 9 lives.
I mean, I'm aware I only have one, but God, that's so much. Well,
There's your map. There's your army.
well,
There are more than I imagined there would be. I thought they would have been spread along the border. I didn't expect to see so many in one place. So yeah, Soren's kind of your tactician in this game, if anything. He kind of gives you, like, battle advice going into it. No, you won't.
LOL.
No, you won't. Also, they're not fighting either, for obvious reasons.
That they're children?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I would start by moving some of your items around too, because I noticed you had a lot of items that characters can use on them specifically. So Soren actually gave you two good pieces of advice. One, the forest line that you're in right now, until somebody gets out of that huge batch of forest, the enemies will not do anything. So if you like pick a side that you want to go to and move everybody to the left or everybody to the right, you can move them as close as you want as long as they stay in the tree line. The second somebody moves out, then at that point they're going to start moving on their turn.
so this one's probably my best bet because it comes up closest. And
I
it's
usually
really-
take the right bridge, actually. I feel like the right one's easier. If you can eliminate those two guards that are near the top right, and then just go around, all the other enemies will come to you, and they'll usually go back down and across that way. But because you're also in the forest line, movement is very heavily restricted inside of the thicket. You'll only be able to move about 1 to 2 spaces per turn. So going all that way takes about 10 turns.
Ooh.
So if you go here, you'll probably spend like the first turn moving a little bit closer to the right, and then just attacking with everybody on turn 2. The second thing, though, is they did mention there's 2 bridges. Pretty much already gave you the advice. Just pick one of those 2 to go across. I think the right one's easier, but I've tried going across the left one, and I had a lot harder of a time doing there.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so move around your items and see what you have for that. And reposition if you want to. No one expects the Spanish repositioning. Yeah, so if anything is grayed out, like the Javelin and Ike's inventory, that means he can't use it. And that's just because he doesn't use lances as an item. Oscar does.
so Oscar can get my javelin.
And he can't. Oscar can't use the Iron Sword, so if you want to take the Iron Sword with Ike, you can.
And then,
Hit B again. Yeah, and then you can switch to anybody else you want to trade with.
she has to trade with Oscar as well, because Oscar has an axe.
Unless you want to give the Steel Axe to Boyd. You can also give it to Boyd. Because she has 4 axes. Boyd, I think, has either 1 or 2, and they're both iron axes. No, he only has 1 when he has the iron axe. Also, right here on this menu, before, like, if you hit B once,
Let me real quick. Okay.
hit B. One more time, and then hit Y. It'll put you back to this screen again, and go left or right. It's on one of these pages. Yeah, that one. Where it says weapon level D, that will show all the weapon types they can use. So he can use axes that's anything that's D or lower, so D and E. C or lower. Yeah, all the spells, axes and lances, swords. You get the idea. He has staves.
I think everyone else is okay.
Keep going through them one more time. Check everybody, because there's something I'm out of list a second ago. No, never mind, you're fine. I thought one person didn't have a vulnerary, but that was my mistake. I think it was because I thought Soren had the mage band instead of the heal thing, but I think you picked the mage band later. Because the mage band increases the growth rate for magic by 10%, so it's really good to stick on him. It'll pretty much guarantee that he gets the cat magic. Alright, new escape, or new victory tutorial, escape. It's really damn simple. You win the battle if Ike gets to a yellow square, and then you choose to escape.
Only Ike?
Here's the thing. The mission ends if Ike escapes. If another player escapes, you get bonus experience for doing it. So, usually what I do is I clear out the entire map, and then have Reese heal everybody to get experience, and once they're healed, if they're not Ike, have them escape. Because then Reese gets a bunch of experience, and you get a bunch of bonus experience for it. But once they escape, they're off the map for good. Plus, you also get to see some different lines of dialogue from them, because they each have their own. And some of them are pretty funny. Escaping's not very common in this game. You have to do it, I think, either 2 or 3 times, including this one, but there's a couple times you have to do it. I believe Chapter 11 is the next one after this that you have to win by escape.
This is still in the thicket, so I'm good, right?
Yep. Oh, I thought I already told you how to do that one, but I get it. That seems like really late to teach you how to equip a weapon.
Right?
So one of the things you can do is if you attack, you obviously pick what weapon, and whatever weapon you pick, you automatically equip it. But if you wanted to equip and just change a weapon without attacking, you could go to items and then just select a new weapon and just hit equip. Whenever the E is over, then it's got that equipped.
Not sure what the point is, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't tell you that till, what, Chapter 5? 6?
It's been a while.
Because the prologue also counts as a chapter. There's 30 chapters in this game, including the prologue and the endgame. So that means they told
Oh,
you...
I can't go up anywhere.
No, you have to go down in that way.
So I guess let's just go ahead and start attacking
Yeah,
people.
if you can kill those 3 units in the first round, then you're pretty much good. Those 2 soldiers and the archer below you.
Hi.
Bye.
It's definitely not gonna beat him, but... What is happening?
You're unequipping your weapon for some reason.
So now... Appreciate it. Bad. You really do not have a lot of movement, buddy.
Now, Thicket cuts you down, like, really badly. And since Soren's movement is normally only 6 maximum, it's just that much worse here.
can't get to anyone.
Yeah, you can. See, he's in the orange right now. Orange is the range you can attack somebody in.
You're right. I forgot about that. Eh.
Nothing like all the other people are taking pot shots with the javelin. He actually makes it work.
Yep.
Everybody else has either missed completely or done like less than 5 damage, unless it was a boss.
Alrighty. And it's time to go, buddy boy. Come here. I'll tell you a secret. The secret is you suck.
Yay, level 9, I think. Nope, 10.
Exciting.
At least I'm getting in ballpark range each time.
I mean, you're usually within 1, so... We spotted the mercenaries!
You, run away.
Really? That's it? Okay. Hey. Hi.
I was actually kind of hoping he'd hit you so you could see the bonus damage. He was going to do 23 damage to her if he hit.
Whew. It's a good thing he didn't then.
That's why you have to watch out for those weapons. I think he actually drops the poleaxe too, if I remember correctly.
Nice! Damn it! Ah!
It's luck. Nobody needs that.
That's so close. Hey! That's exciting. I guess I'll come stand here and be intimidating. So... I'm gonna start attempting him to run.
Once they get out of the thicket, they'll start moving as normal. I would just leave Oscar where he is and just let the sword guy come to him.
Yeah. It's not a bad bet.
But you could also, too, if you want to move him a little bit, like get him closer to the action, you can hit A on the enemy unit and see how far he can move. And then just move him like as close as you can to the bridge while still being in that orange.
So like right here?
Yeah, like right there. And he'd still be able to reach and attack him, and Oscar could kill him next round.
I think that's right, but I'm gonna go back and be sure.
He's still probably gonna die in one round. If not, he's gonna almost die. So like 11 times 2.
That did 2 damage to me.
Yeah.
My horse got straight run through with that lance, and that did 2 damage.
That's your damage, not the horse's.
I'm embarrassed.
Because remember when, with all the other people, when they died on a horse, the horse stayed perfectly calm and still. It didn't die.
I mean, good point.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to survive for more than 1 round.
Not the carbon freezing process.
Oscar's just too good.
He's adorable. Not bad.
Ladies, he's single. He's also the chef, so you know he knows how to cook.
Aha. Alrighty. Come on, buddy boy. Sure. Do I want to go ahead and get up close and attack this guy, or do I want...
Only if you want her to get the experience on those 3 kills.
I'll go ahead and wait right here.
Usually it's a pretty safe bet, not always in Primal, but it's a pretty safe bet that if they can reach and attack you, then they probably will. About 9 times out of 10 that will be the case. The only exceptions to that rule are generally, not always, but generally bosses don't move. And then, like, occasionally have the rare instances.
So are they just gonna chill over here the whole time?
Once you
or-
get close to the escape point, they'll probably start going down to the right and trying to attack you, but for now, he'll just hang out over there. That's why it's good to not divide up your forces and go to the 2 separate bridges, because then it can actually be kind of tough. Because that was what I tried to do the first time I played, and I died. Well, I didn't die, Boyd did, but not surprising. He got attacked by 2 Myrmidon and 2 archers, and that was enough to get him.
Hi, guys. What's up? It's almost a shame that I can't move him again. I need something that'll do 2 damage.
I would give it to Boyd, because he's the lowest level of all the people he ever moved.
Probably, yeah.
Presuming that he can hit him, you might want to check the accuracy, because it's probably not going to be very high.
Because that's a 74 and an 84.
Well, no, you have to hit A one more time, and then I can
Oh.
show you the accuracy. Yeah, 54. Because it's not factoring, because before you pick your target, it's not factoring in that guy's speed.
So is 64 high enough, or?
That's up to you. It's a percentage out of 100 of your chance of hitting. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
It's mostly just dependent on playstyle. I've missed too many times at a critical point, so I don't try going for low percentages. But usually with people that have low percentages to hit, usually have really high damage. So
I was gonna say, he could also probably kick him in the shin really hard and kill him, so, you
more
know.
likely than not.
Hi.
Also, for reference's sake, before you initiate this combat, like, go all the way back to where you started with Oscar. Like, hit B one more time and then hit Y. Okay, let's say you're gonna attack this guy with the Iron Lance, so hit Y again, and go to Iron Lance. Okay, so it's -7, and his strength is 10. So now go over, hit back out of this, and go to that enemy guy and hit Y on him. And his defense is 4, so you'll do 13 damage with the Iron Lance. That's it. It combines your character's strength with the weapon strength, and then subtracts the enemy's defense. That's how you get the numbers that you do.
Oh, interesting.
So for like the average for avoiding, it's the weapon's percentage to hit plus your speed minus their speed. So if it ever seems like it's just giving you really random numbers, there actually is a strategy to it.
Huh.
Also, that healer's dead.
Bye.
I don't know why they stick that healer there, because I've intentionally made it to where I attacked somebody that had 1 health left and then let the enemy heal, and he didn't do anything. He just stood there.
That's annoying.
I mean, no, it actually worked out great for me, because he could have helped his ally and just chose not to.
Alright, come at me. Where are you going? I was right there!
But you had Oscar with a javelin, so he could have counterattacked. That's why he went for Ike, because Ike can't counterattack.
I guess. Ow. So...
Nope, too late. You already committed.
Yep.
Don't think Soren can reach him. Otherwise, I'd suggest Soren, because Soren's not going to take any damage from a mage. His resistance is just too high. Watching 2 mages battle is like the most frustrating thing to ever watch, because they will do like next to no damage to each other. Also, if you ever spot a healer, don't even bother trying to kill them with mages, because their resistance is even higher than mages. I had Soren up to like level 8 or 9 at this point once, and I attacked that healer that you did with Oscar, and he did 1 damage. Like, that's how high their resistance is.
Yikes.
Their defense is also crap, which is why it's easy to kill them with anything else.
Alright, come here.
11.
Woohoo!
12. Still within 1.
Yeah.
Speaking of 1. At least he actually connected. Most people have just missed completely.
Yeah, I mean, he hit. He just. Ow? Question mark. Hi.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be over in about 2 seconds. It's gonna do probably roughly 14 times 2, I would guess. 13 times 2 is close.
I got a lot of experience for that. Alright, so...
It just depends on if you want to heal Ike or if you want to heal Boyd. Because Ike's not going to be able to reach any of the other players this round, so if you just moved him like super close and used the vulnerary, he'd be back at full anyway. Keep in mind that boss does have a ranged attack, so he can't hit you from right there.
He's got a hella ranged attack.
He won't move because he's guarding that escape space, but he does have range. In fact, all 3 of those soldiers down there in that bottom row will have range.
Yeah.
I would just let them come to you. I would just put up a wall. I'd move Oscar in between Titania and Ike and just leave them all there. Because the other 2 soldiers that are down there on the bottom row, they won't move either. Not in my experience, they won't move anyway. Yep, going after little boy Ikey Poo. Do you still have that hammer on Ike or not Ike? Do you still have the hammer on Ike or Boyd?
I have
Titania or Boyd. Let me try that again.
Yeah, I have it on Titania.
Yeah, try attacking the knight with it when you get a chance and see how much damage it does. It'll probably do upwards of 30. It'll be hilarious. Though you can also kill him with Soren too, if you want to wait a turn, because he's got long distance. And there he goes.
Rip. Nice.
If you wanted the experience for Boyd, you could also trade the hammer to Boyd and then have Boyd attack him, because Boyd will probably one-shot him with the hammer too. It's that good. Yeah,
She's got the bull
Yeah,
axe.
she's got the full axe. She'll be fine regardless. That hammer's gonna do a lot of damage. It's gonna be great.
I just hang out right there. Actually,
If you can heal somebody, you might as well, because you're still getting that experience. Because keep in mind, this is like what, chapter 5 or 6? Reese has not gotten a single level. That's why people keep leveling, is you just don't get any experience from healing, so you have to do it a lot. Yeah, see, he still has to heal one more time before he gets to level 5, but he started at 4. But that hammer will almost assuredly kill him if you use it this round. Or you could wait, that works too.
I just want to wait and see if they'll come any faster to me.
The problem is you left your own. Yeah.
Oh darn.
That's why you should have attacked. You cannot claim that was planned. You can't.
No, it was more, you know, I got shot by an arrow, but at least I leveled up. Oh man, that's bad. That's bad.
It's gonna be even worse here. You're gonna get knocked down in single digits with IQ hits. Yep. So, gonna consider attacking now?
Oh yeah.
You have to kill the archer first before you can get to that armored unit. Everybody else is blocking the way.
It means that I can hit him from here.
Yeah,
right?
you can hit him with Soren and with Ike, just not with Boyd.
I can't hit him.
No, I'm saying you can't hit the armored unit with Boyd right now because there's too many people in the way. Because you can't stand in the water. And
Yeah.
Ike and the archer blocking the way.
I think I'm right here.
No, that's three squares. Remember, diagonal is 2 squares. If you're planning on attacking the archer, you want to stand next to him, though, because remember, he can only attack from 2 away.
Hi.
So that's got the potential to kill him if you get it up to 8 of these hits. Or no, not quite. Would've been close, though. Also, I'd recommend not using your javelin unless you're using a ranged attack, because ranged weapons are kind of hard to come by early game. Plus, they're not as accurate.
Poke, poke.
Oh, if only you could ride an ostrich in this game. I'd love to be an ostrich knight. Now you can smash him in the face with a hammer.
Hi.
That's
Nope.
not the hammer.
Hi. Eh. Oh, hey.
And you couldn't damage him with the iron sword, but you could probably kill him with the regal sword, because the regal sword has bonus damage as well. Yep. That will work.
I'll do, don't do.
Especially if you critical on it.
Yep.
If you think the critical ability is broken, make sure you see some of the skills when people promote. Yeah, those 3 guys won't move, so you can... If you toggle all 3 of them, then you can just see what the range is. Of course, they won't move, so like as long as you're 3 squares away from them, they can't do anything to you. It looks like their movement's much worse than they are, but nobody will move unless you... Well, no, not even if you attack them. I think they'll stay where they are.
So as long as we stay like 3 squares away.
Yeah, because they all have ranged weapons. The boss does, and the other 2 have javelins. You're 4 away right now, though. So usually it depends on who you want getting experience. You can make it really... Soren, Oscar, Boyd are probably the 3 you'd want to go with. Soren can get counterattack, but if you've got Reese 3 squares away while Soren's at 2, he can just heal Soren after Soren takes damage.
That's 3 away, right?
Yeah, that's 3.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to do a murder.
One singular murder.
Hi. Bye.
Yeah, that might be another reason you want to use Oscar too, is then you can just keep him out of the way of the boss. You can just run an attack and then flee. He does drop the short spear when he's beaten, though.
Hi. Ow.
Yay! Level 13.
He levels up really quickly, I feel like.
Yeah. Again, this game favors units with high mobility.
I could just wait.
See how much damage you can do with Void. Like, don't actually attack him or anything, but like, see how much you... Not to that guy, to the actual boss. You might be able to get the boss kill with Soren if he only hits once. If Void only hits once. Like, try with the Iron Axe first, because that's going to be the baseline. Okay, try Steel. Switch to Steel and see how much it does. Probably shouldn't do that if he's going to double attack you. Because he's going to do 20 damage to Void if you hit with that.
Yeesh.
See how much Soren will do. This is kind of the way of predicting how much damage you're going to do. Like, try attacking the boss with Soren and see how much it does. But don't actually attack, just see what the numbers are. Wrong guy. 6. Oh yeah, you actually could get him this round with Soren if you wanted to. If you hit him with the Iron Axe with Void, and then hit him with Wind with Soren, it'll be just enough to kill him.
Alright. Let's go. With the Iron Axe, you said?
Yeah, it has to be the Iron Axe, otherwise you're going to take too much damage and the other guy will probably kill you.
Now.
Because if you attacked with anything else, it would have brought you down to 4. And then that other guy would have just thrown a javelin at you and killed you.
Yeesh.
Also, don't stand there. Go back up 1. Because if you stand right next to him and attack, then the other guy you're going to leave alive. He's going to throw a spear at you and kill you.
Ah.
Or at least knock you down to very low health. The other good thing about killing with Soren is because it drops the short spear, because Soren has like nothing in his weapons inventory because you can't apply magic yet, you don't have to worry about it. Like, you don't have to worry about trying to drop an item.
Oh my god. Nice.
Nice. Very good.
Alright. So...
Probably won't be able to get him this round unless you can get him with the Regal or Steel Sword. No, not even with that, but you can damage him. And he'll probably go after Void next round.
Get a level up. Too. Alright, buddy. Let's get you over here, I guess. Use your one turn
Oh,
wisely.
didn't he? Went after Ike. Alright, well, that was stupid of him. I know he had the weapons final, but at least Void couldn't counterattack him.
God.
Alright,
Rip.
that works, I guess.
Alright.
Alright, so the thing for this one is you're going to want Ike to be the last person to escape, so heal everybody if they're not at full, even if they're only missing 1 point to get Reese extra levels. If they're at full level, you can go ahead and let them escape, but if they're not, you might as well get the experience for healing.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. Get out of here. Escape. Yes.
No, everybody else needs healing. So you just end the turn and just keep doing that over and over until Ike's the only person left on the stage. Also, you probably already noticed, but the music changes whenever all the enemy units are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like something out of Wind Waker. Which would make sense, because this was around the same time the Wind Waker got put out. That kind of look at the intro and see if I can make it match in time with the music. You see and hear how similar they are. Oh yeah, and you can also weapon level ups to make them use better stabs later on.
Nice.
Come on.
Why does almost everyone second guess my orders? I'm almost offended.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Different musical instruments, but notes are pretty close. They're just in a different key, but they're probably only off by 1 or 2. It's probably like an A sharp instead of a B sharp or something like that. For what little I know about music.
Alrighty. I don't know how, but we made it.
Brother.
Nice. My lord Ike.
Ahoy. Oh. You're talking about the man here? They're fine.
Don't worry about it. What? No, we're not.
Yeah, no, you're not.
What are you talking about?
Actually, I think they make you go back. I feel like you should have at least one person that can actually physically fight go with them.
Right?
Said boy, he's expendable.
Exactly. Oh, hey. Where have you been keeping that? No, I don't want to know.
Pockets.
Pockets. Sure.
Yeah, it's basically just a heal staff that does it heals for more. That's all.
Appreciate that. I don't know why she couldn't have given it to us earlier, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, well, she was just holding out, I guess. It's fine.
Man, I cannot believe we're leaving them.
Yeah, so there's the points for ally escaped. 90.
Nice.
With that, though, I think we're probably going to end it off for the night since it is 9 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
8 a.m. class, hype.
8 a.m. work.
Chapter 7, Shades of Evil, will be seen next time.
On your
Fireball.
TV. I don't know.
On my TV.
On your TV.
Even though this is actually being recorded from my monitor, not my TV. Which
I
is
mean...
that's why it's full screen, is you're watching that one on the actual stream, not that one. That
yeah.
That one's because it plays at a better frame rate, so you can actually see what's going on better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only real difference.
Oh, boy.
Eh.
So I'll be watching it from your TV screen, but they'll be watching it from your monitor.
Correct.
Dual monitors are awesome.
They're
ladies and
wonderful.
gentlemen.
I really wish I had room for the third one that's sitting in there. I really do. I'll get a bigger desk one day.
One day.
So a few other things to note before we end off. In case you ever decide to play the sequel, there's a bit of a problem because you can load your save file after you've beaten this game on there, and I'm half tempted to show it. Nah, we'll not show it. But basically, there's a translation error because this game plays in easy, normal, hard. The Japanese version has no easy mode. You only play on normal, hard, and intense. So there's no easy mode. So if you try to load save data from this game to the sequel, Radiant Dawn, and there's any save data from easy mode, it'll crash your Wii.
Oh.
Like, it will straight up just start going, and, like, you have to unplug the Wii in order to get it to start working again.
So don't do that,
So,
ladies and gentlemen.
so what I'm going to be doing is, in case you ever decide to play the sequel to this game, I'm going to play through after you're done with this on normal mode, and I'll level up the same units you level up, so you'll still have, like, the same bonuses for those units. They're probably going to get completely different level ups and less experience because it's on normal instead of easy, but it will at least still be the same characters, because it adds more, like, support conversations and different things that happen in this game that you don't see otherwise. So I'll be doing that off screen at some point. I might show it, but I doubt anybody's going to want to watch that, because it's just going to be me, like, I'll hit start to, like, mash through all these cutscenes, so it's going to be, like, 30 times faster because I'm skipping all of this, because this is probably about 2/3 of the game, is just watching to see what happens.
Because I have seen Derek play Radiant Dawn before, and it's interesting, mainly in that I can never tell what's going on, because he plays at, like, double time, triple time the speed that I'm going at.
Probably.
Like,
Let me put it this way, when I do the prologue on this, on normal mode, it takes a little under 2 minutes.
yeah.
So.
'Cause he just goes, man.
I've played it way too many times, is basically what we're saying. In fact, I can show it, because you already saved on the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can hit B, X, and start to just, like, reset the system. There we go. I'll go ahead and show it real quick. Oh, 2005. I thought it was 03. My mistake. So after you beat the game, one of the things you can unlock is trial maps. Which I guess we'll pull from that file, whatever. And for whatever reason, there's more maps you can get by, like, connecting some of the GBA Fire Emblems into your GameCube, because this was initially on GameCube, but we're playing it on a Wii, so
Don't worry about it.
that's not going to happen, is basically what I'm saying. And this is obviously going to be massive spoilers for later in the game. But you can actually play as some of the bosses in this game, like Katrina's in here somewhere. Yeah. You can actually play as her in trial maps. You can play as Ashnard, of all people. The final boss of the game you get to play as. The problem is, you have to complete this game from start to finish 15 times to do that. And I've done it. That's why I know what I'm doing. So, yeah, you actually can play as, like, additional characters. Oliver, Shirheem, Katrine, Bryce, and Ashnard himself. Also, this is the first trial map, by the way. That's what it looks like. Isn't it beautiful? You'll have to do something like that later on. Not till, like, stage 24 or so, but it's there. But yeah, at some point I'll just go and, like, I'll start a new game and I'll just play it on normal. I'll probably delete one of the epilogue files. Or delete the other Shades of Evil that has the ADV. If you save, because the ADV stands for advanced, so, like, if you do all your stuff for starting the level, like, you trade all your items and whatnot, and then you save and quit there, that's how you get the ADV on that. It stands for advanced. Like, you're ready to go, you just haven't actually started the level. Because unfortunately the way the saving works is they do, like, the Mario Bros. Wii quick save, where if you save, like, you can stop, but if you pick it back up from that point, it deletes the save, like, the midway save. So you can only, like, proper save and keep trying from that point if you've cleared a stage. So that's the way it works. And then there's also base saves where eventually they'll give you, like, an actual base to trade things around. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think there was one other thing I wanted to show. Since I worked on it this afternoon instead of getting my homework done like a good boy. Hooray! Yeah, who needs homework? It's just there. It exists. Let's close that. All the way, please. Thank you. Make sure that's actually appearing. Yes, it is! I did actually finally update the bottom of the panel page, so if you'd like to see any more of that new information, feel free to do so. Still need to change this, but it's actually got the subscriber perks. Instead of me putting the Discord thing on, which I'm going to have to change at some point, you can actually just click on this straight up and it will just pull open a tab to open Discord and join there. So you won't have to see it over and over, so that'll be nice. Outside of that, I think we're pretty much good, so let's see who's playing some stuff and find a raid target. And then we're going to go eat, because I haven't eaten yet. Other than, like, a bunch of sandwiches in the afternoon. I made 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I've eaten 3.
Not bad, not bad.
Alright, let's take a look here. I gotta know. Tom, what are you playing? Oh, Hitman 2. I saw Cans for All Mans. I'm like, please tell me that ain't the game title. Like, that's not good.
Not sure what that means, but I don't want to know.
Usually try to get it to people that are smaller audiences. I doubt anybody's actually playing Fire Emblem, but let's find out. Oh god, I forgot there was a mobile game for this.
Ew.
It's not good.
The most mobile I like my Fire Emblem games are on the Game Boy Advance.
Yep, you got that right. Like, the first DS one, besides Shadow Dragon, is okay, but after that, they... Like, the fact that they changed some stuff, you don't have to use it, but, like, the big appeal of Fire Emblem, at least in the old ones, is, like, if a unit dies, they're gone for good. Like, they're straight up dead in the story, unless they're required to keep alive. And in the new ones, you can do something called... I'm trying to remember what the mode name is. Don't remember what it is, but it's basically, like, after that character dies, when you start the next chapter, that character's alive again. And then they put in a newer one called Phoenix Mode, where the turn after they die, they come back with all their stuff.
It's like bowling with bumpers.
It's pretty much like you could just throw them at the enemy, and it doesn't matter what happens. They're not gonna actually die. The only way you can actually lose is if your main character dies. But aside from that, like, you don't need a formation or anything. You can just throw them all in, because who cares if they die? They're gonna come right back. What's the point?
Oh, boy, die.
So it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna make you guys watch League. It's too toxic for me, thanks. We'll just host who I was hosting already, since he's doing Tales of Vesperia. Oh god, it's his first playthrough, I'm so sorry. That's gonna be rough. Please don't switch to another character, because I'm telling you, if you try to main any of the other characters in your first playthrough, it will not go well. Go back to my page. Thank you all for watching. Now that I've actually updated my schedules, I will see you guys at Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time when I'm doing something important, I'm sure, that I don't actually remember what it is. Alright, I need to change some of the intermission stuff back. Oh well, I'll do that later.